#1, has been placed #1 in the world, mainly for the quality of life. And, this is something that we are all very proud of. And of course, when it comes to Toronto, Toronto is the second safest city in the world to live in, even after, the pandemic started. And so this is the most latest news is Toronto is the most second safest city in the world to live in. Okay, now the 8th most popular destination for global talent. So it is way above its top most destination for global talent, because you have people from different backgrounds coming in to the country, and we have businesses, the topmost businesses, the headquarters of IT and various top companies right here placed in Canada and in Toronto. It is home to a diverse population of around 2.8 million people, with the 3rd largest percentage of immigrants in one city. So you can imagine, how diverse it is. And also, students coming in from different parts of the world, they can always find, people that they can connect to. They can learn a lot more about different cultures and of different countries as well. And Toronto is the fastest growing tech city in North America. So it's great. It's great for jobs. It is great for, the growth. So it's fantastic. We do have the downtown Toronto neighborhood. Our college is located, our campus is located in downtown. So this is very important. We do have the entertainment district, the financial district, discovery district, distillery district, harborfront, city hall, all of this. So which means that, there is so much more activity, so much more economical activity going on around our campus, which means more job opportunities, more networking opportunities for students. Next slide. Well, what can you expect when you come to Toronto? The major attractions in Toronto, of course, it is home, as I was mentioning, to a dynamic mix of, so diverse. So we do have a dynamic mix of tourist attractions, from museums, galleries, to the world famous CN Tower, which I'm sure you all have heard of. Well, we are a very short drive away from Niagara Falls. And of course, the entertainment district is so vibrant. You can, just walk by and it features a lot of latest musicals and fine dining. We do have Toronto Island as well. So it's best to visit in summer, great for summer activities. It is, car-free, urban kind of a small island which is there, and so you can go over there, no pollution, a lot of activities out there. We do have Toronto's underground city, which is known as the Path, which is used widely in winters, especially when it's freezing outside and it's extremely cold. People do use the Path to travel around the city from one place to another. You can walk about, and there are about 8,000 restaurants in the city. This is fantastic because, even if you visit one restaurant every day, it'll take you 22 years to cover all the 8,000 restaurants. All right. So you can find your cuisine that you like, your what you feel is your comfort food. You can always find all sorts of cuisines and restaurants that cater to it. So that's a little bit about Toronto. I don't know what happened to my video, but okay.
Thank you for that, Nisha. So I'll talk a little bit about our location here in downtown Toronto. So as you can see on the map here, we have our college situated between the intersections of Yonge Street and College Street. So, if you are going to be traveling to campus, if you actually do get here into Toronto, a good indicator and a good thing to remember is that our school is situated on the intersection of Yonge Street and also on College Street. So if you're taking an Uber, if you're, someone's driving you, then that's something to bear in mind and to keep in mind. And also just just to let you guys know that we are in a very excellent location that's situated in the entertainment and university district, as they say, there in downtown Toronto. A couple blocks away is the University of Toronto. 2 blocks away is Ryerson University. And if you walk literally around like 8 to 10 minutes down south, you will be greeted with the Eaton Center, one of the nicest malls that we have here in Toronto. So it's a very located in a very prime location there in downtown Toronto. Across the street, which I'm going to go a little bit more detail in a minute, is we also have a subway station as well, just right across the street there. So for those that are not familiar with the area, we are on 22 College Street, and there's a photo right there of our building. It's situated right next to Fran's Diner as well. So more information on that to come. Okay. I will let Josh talk a little bit about the Toronto Transit Commission and a little bit more about the subway system. I'm going to ask him to unmute.
Thanks, Freddie.
No worries.
So we're going to briefly touch on the TTC, which is known as the Toronto Transit Commission. This is going to be your main hub for transportation here in the city of Toronto. So we have the subway, we have the bus system, and we have a streetcar system, which is pretty cool. Especially, I know a lot of the international students, when they see the streetcar, they're quite amazed in how it runs. So we have all 3 transportation modes that come right to campus. So you have various options, whether you want to go one location with one transportation mode, and so on. We have the subway station, which, as Fred mentioned, we are on College Street. So College Station is our main hub for the subway, which is across the street. You'll see a Tim Hortons right across the street. You just go down the escalator, and you will go to line 1, which here is the yellow line. So that's your main north to south line that you'll be taking. And you, in the zoom section, you can see College Station is right before line 2, which goes east and west. So we do have plenty of lines. I think we have 7 now. We've added quite a few. I feel like there's a line that's always added every month. So it can get quite confusing at first, but we are always here to help you. So if you need any questions on maybe a digital map or any resources, we do have that on hand as well. And our student services team can help with that. So just a quick reminder that it is College Station is your main station. The subway, again, is at the Tim Hortons area, which is called College Park. They also have a really good food court down there as well. So if you like some cheap eats, that's a great place as well. So the next slide, we're going to talk about how to use a card to get onto the TTC. So the main card that you need to use is called a Presto card. In the middle, you'll see this animated hand holding the Presto card. That is what you use to tap on and off the subway, the bus, and the streetcar system. This is what you need always with you. Also, you need a post-secondary photo ID, which is in the top right-hand corner you see here. That is what you always need to carry as well. So you do have to get your post-secondary photo ID first, and you get that by going to the Bathurst subway station. It does cost $5.25, and you do need to bring a few documentation pieces. So an LOA and study permit, 1 piece of photo ID, and also bring your class schedule, just so you have everything and you don't have to go back and forth in case the officer wants to see your class schedule as well. After you obtain your post-secondary photo ID, you can then go to Shoppers Drug Mart, which there is one right on the left of campus. It's literally a 2-minute walk at the intersection. You get your Presto card, and then you're ready to go. So you can put all the money on that Presto card, which will be your post-secondary monthly pass. Just make sure to carry both your post-secondary photo ID and your Presto card with you, just in case they do any spot checks on the subway, bus, or streetcar. They will need to see your post-secondary photo ID. So it's pretty simple, but just make sure you do carry both IDs with you at all times. And if you have any questions on how to obtain these, you can always ask us as well. Thank you, Fred.
No worries. The next one's going to be TSoM mission and values. I think the best candidate to fulfill this slide is going to be Nisha. So I'm going to ask Nisha to unmute herself to see and explain about the missions and values.
Thank you, Fred. I think there's something wrong with my video, so you've
That's
got
okay.
to do with my
Beautiful voice.
All right. So just to talk a little bit about the TSoM mission and values. Our values are mostly student-centered, and of course, our highest priority is the future success of our students. We kind of place a lot of emphasis on excellence, and all our modules and courses and programs, and just the way we deliver in-class lessons, and as well as how we cater our services is all revolving around excellence, student excellence. We're committed to providing students with the right combination of academic excellence and practical hands-on experience. Of course, we work with industry leaders to design and deliver innovative and career-centric program, all so that it is geared towards student excellence. And we are committed to protect the rights and dignity of all our members, and we believe diversity is the source of strength, which is why respect is definitely something that is our value, and we value it very, very strongly. So definitely, I would say TSoM mission and values, it is inspired by industry and driven by student success.
Thank you for that, Nisha. I'm going to take over again and explain a little bit about some technicalities in terms of, the Toronto School of Management and being a private career college. So if you're here today, you're either enrolled or you haven't applied, or you might be in the process of still applying for your study permit, okay? So it is very important that we understand what the TSoM DLI number is. On the slide that you see before you, you have the TSoM DLI number, right? The most common mistake that I see when students are applying for their study permit is that you see that TSoM DLI number down there. It starts with a O. Some people write a 0 there, and then that kind of like slows down the entire application process for your study permit, right? So even if you are not enrolled yet, if you do go to another college, or if you are transferring from another college, let's say you were previously in Fleming College or Niagara College, and now you're transferring to the Toronto School of Management, it's very important that on your study permit you have the correct DLI number. And now the DLI number is the acronym for the Designated Learning Institute number, right? So I'm going to repeat it here, and don't worry if, about taking photos and taking a screenshot of this. We will be providing a recording of this orientation at the end, okay? A few hours from now after orientation, we will have a fully recorded link that will be available to all our students. All you need to do is email student services, and we will provide you a link of the recording for this orientation. So I'm going to verbally say out loud the TSoM DLI number, just so everyone's on the same page here. It's going to be 0131, okay, 394 510 557. So, if again, it's particularly for those students that are transferring from a different college coming into TSoM, another college meaning another Canadian college, all right? This doesn't apply if you are, transferring from an overseas college coming into the Toronto School of Management. This is mostly, you need to pay particular attention if you are currently in a different Canadian college and then transferring to the Toronto School of Management, you will be required to update the TSoM DLI number, which is associated with your student number, okay? So that's that one right there. And just switching gears here a little bit, and just to highlight some of the things that the fun and great facts about studying here at TSoM is that we have a diverse learning environment. Okay, as of the end of 2021, we have 72 countries that are represented here at the Toronto School of Management. Within our staff, we have 26 countries that are representative, in our staff, and also our faculty as well. Okay, so we have truly a very diverse learning environment, and it comes from the perspective of your classmates, and also comes from the perspective of your instructors, and also our administrative team as well. Okay, we recently, Q4 of 2021, launched the student portal. I'm pretty sure a lot of students here are familiar with that by now. So the student portal is, once you received your letter of acceptance, you will be sent a link to access your student portal. Via the student portal, you will be able to see what documents you're missing for enrollment, right? Our student services team will see on a daily basis who's uploaded what type of documents onto the student portal. We will then go ahead and verify and certify your documents in terms of getting enrolled. What are the minimum requirements? Do you have your proof of English, et cetera, et cetera? Okay, student focused class sizes. Okay, opportunities to link studies with hands-on experience. So what this means is, the vast majority of the students that are here today are in co-op programs, which means you will be taking a academic portion for the first portion of your program. You're going to learn all your theory, right? You're going to take your test, your examinations, and then with the latter part of your program, you will be taking a practicum. In other words, you will be in a co-op. You will, near the end of the academic portion, you will be connecting with Irene and Suni as well, and they will give you tips and tricks on how to secure a position, so you can then therefore complete your program. Okay, as I was mentioning earlier, we are in a very prime location there in downtown. Okay, it's one of the reasons why I chose to work there long term as well, because of the food. For lunch, you just walk down the street, there's 15, 20 different options. There's Vietnamese, there's Caribbean cuisines, Bohemian cuisines, Thai cuisines, you name it. It's all on that one young street. If you keep on heading south, you will eventually hit the mall. Within the mall, there's one of the largest food courts that we have here in Canada. So definitely food is not a problem here, and in the surrounding area of campus as well. The number one asked question for students that are arriving in Canada is opening your bank account here in Canada. So we've discussed a little bit about the superficial parts about TSoM, being a diverse place. We're talking about location. I'm talking more about the technicalities right now. So when you do arrive to Canada, I will tell you some of the steps here in order for you guys to successfully set up a bank account and make sure and ensure that it's hassle-free for you guys. Okay. So the banking system here in Canada is not like a lot of other countries, right? So here in Canada, the banking system here is extremely regulated. It's a very rigid type of system. So it is regulated by the Office of Superintendent of Financial Institutions, right? So I have friends that are working in banks, and they have to do a reporting on a frontline basis, on a weekly basis. So they are, banks that follow a very standardized type of system where you're trying to deposit your money in, trying to get a credit card. So the takeaway from this is not to get into very much detail and make it boring for you guys. The takeaway is that it really doesn't matter which bank that you choose. That's the main takeaway here. Okay. There are certain promotions that go on throughout the year for certain banks. For example, RBC, before Christmas, they were giving away free iPads, right? If you opened a checkings and savings account with them. So here are the major banks. So you have BMO on the left-hand side there. It's Bank of Montreal. Okay, and then on the right-hand side, upper right corner is RBC. Okay, Royal Bank of Canada. Okay, TD is Toronto Dominion. Okay, and then in the middle there you have Scotiabank, and on the far right-hand side on the bottom is CIBC. Okay, so all these banks, they really doesn't make any difference, not too huge of a difference, but you might want to check out and just visit their websites to see what kind of promotions they have. They might have free iPads going on. They might give you a preferred rate, on your savings or whatnot. So it's a very, minute type of difference. So that's the main takeaway. Most of them are the same. Okay, so once you've established which bank you want to open your bank account with, okay, what you do is you bring your passport, right? You bring your study permit, okay? And now this applies for students that are physically coming into Canada, right? So you will get your study permit as soon as you land here at Pearson at the airport. Okay, so when you travel, Kuda's going to go more into this with the COVID support slides, but in a nutshell, what it is, you have your port of entry letter. You have your port of entry letter along with the travel support documents that the school will issue you. You're going to arrive at immigration. Immigration is going to give you your study permit on the spot. Okay, so that's the vast majority of our students. Some students will do paper processing overseas, and they will get their study permit in the mail overseas as well. But for the vast majority of you, you will get your study permit at the airport. So if you don't have it right now, okay, then it's the most likely you will get your port of entry letter, and then with the port of entry letter arrive to Toronto, you'll get your study permit. Okay. Also, you're going to need something called the letter of acceptance, right? In our emails and also with a lot of correspondence that we send to you, the student, we say LOA, right? So LOA essentially means the letter of acceptance. For those that are not familiar with the LOA, the letter of acceptance is exactly what it is. It's the letter that signifies to immigration, it signifies to the bank that we've accepted you to the Toronto School of Management. You've met all the requirements, and we've accepted you to the Toronto School of Management, and that's the next step for enrollment, right? So in order to bring your money into Canada, there's two ways of doing it. The first way I don't list up here because it's extremely dangerous. You can bring cash, but don't bring over 10,000. Okay, that's the dangerous way of doing it. I don't recommend doing that. Okay, but it's technically legal. The other way is to bring a traveler's check, okay, to deposit money here into Canada, okay? So a traveler's check is something that you can get at your local bank in your home country, okay? They usually charge you, maybe 10 to 15 Canadian dollars to actually issue that check, right? So just make sure your traveler's check, the traveler's check name matches your passport, and your passport matches your letter of acceptance. In Canada, we go by the name. Okay, so if you have like a really long middle name, first name, last name, make sure it's all there and it matches your passport. If you have traveler checks that don't match your passport, or if you're missing a middle name, then you will run into problems at the bank. They may ask you for extra verification on your identity. So that's why it's very safe here in Canada. They take it very seriously. So that's why I encourage students to always make sure that your name is matching on traveler's checks, passport, LOA, and all our travel support documents for safe and legal entry here into Canada. Okay, and then finally, you're going to need something called the physical address here in Canada. Okay, so physical address for this one, you don't really need to have like a long-term address. So let's say if you're renting an apartment, so just kindly just bring along like your rental agreement. If you're going with like 5-star, you should have like a rental agreement on hand, and that on the rental agreement there, it's going to tell you like your address and everything. So that's where the bank's going to like email, like mail all the statements to you. Like if you're going to get a credit card, that's where they're going to mail the credit card, etc., etc. If you need like paper checks, that's where they're going to mail it to. Okay, so that's the banking part. I do understand there are a lot of more detailed questions. So I kindly ask that everyone like save those questions for the FAQ session at the end, and then I'm going to answer more of the questions near the end of the orientation. Okay. Okay. So we just talked about the good stuff about Canada, and then more about TSoM, and then getting a bank account. Now I want to talk a little bit about obtaining your social insurance number, your SIN number here. Okay, so next time when I do these slides, I think it's more preferable if I introduce this part first, because it's more beneficial if you have your SIN number before you go get your banking, but it doesn't matter at this point. So you don't need your SIN number to get a bank account here in Canada. But having said that, you do need your social insurance number, which is the SIN number, to start working. Okay, I just want to remind everyone that if you are here on a study permit, right, you are working only 20 hours per week while classes are in session. So again, if you want to work, you can only work 20 hours per week while classes are in session. If you want to work full-time, you can do so as well, but you can only work full-time during scheduled breaks. So how do we define scheduled breaks? Scheduled breaks are like summer vacations, right? And the time in between the academic portion of your program and your co-op portion of your program. Those are scheduled, breaks that are classes that are not in session. Okay, so please bear in mind 20 hours while classes are in session. Okay, and then during scheduled breaks, Christmas breaks, Easter breaks, any between modules and classes are considered, you can work 40 hours per week. Okay, so just to tell you a little bit about getting the social insurance number. Okay, again, don't be worried about like trying to copy and making notes on all these slides. We will have a recording at the end. Okay, and we also can share the slides with you, and so there's no need to copy everything down here. Okay, so you need to check your study permit, right? Which is virtually 100% of all our students. They are going to have like these three criteria that are listed in red there. Okay, so in other words, you go to your study permit. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail in the study permit where you can find this information. It's usually listed at the bottom under remarks. Okay, so essentially what's in red is what I just described to you. So, you can work 20 hours, doing, classes, and then during scheduled breaks, you can and are eligible to work 40 hours. Okay. So here's another thing too. So in the past, we've had like students make like, when they're applying for their SIN card, right? When they're applying for their SIN number, they're making, the Toronto School of Management address as their like primary address. Number one, like I don't encourage you to do that because your mail might get lost, first of all, because we receive hundreds and hundreds of pieces of mail on a weekly basis, right? Number two is that you need to make sure that you have like your current address listed on your SIN number, right? That's associated with your SIN number. Okay, so on the next slide, there are some links on how to get your SIN number as well. So for you to get your SIN number, there's two ways of doing it. Okay, so number one is in our campus across the street, there's this place called Service Ontario. All right, so you show up to campus, we'll give you some instructions, you go across the street, and then you fill out a form to get your SIN number. Okay, so it's pretty much like getting your bank account set up. So you bring your passport, you bring all your immigration documentation, you bring all the support letters that we've given you, for example, the letter of acceptance and things like that, right? And you also bring your address, your own address as well, to be able to get your SIN number. Okay. And I was mentioning earlier, there's a second way of doing it as well. We will provide you with the links to be able to get your SIN number online as well. And there are links that are available, and we will send those to you. Okay, so this is how you check on your study permit. So this is a mock sample study permit that you see on your screen right now. All the information is listed under the conditions or remarks at the bottom there. So if you have any of these criteria that are listed under the conditions section, then you're good to go to get a SIN number. Okay, it's very rare that if you're a student, they won't give you the ability to work, but it does happen. If it's blank, then bring it to us, and then we will see what happened with your study permit application, or if you have like a corresponding work permit that's being applied for at the same time, there might be various reasons as to why you cannot work as a student here in Toronto. Okay, so to apply for your SIN for the first time or to extend your SIN number, right, you need the following documents, right? So you need your co-op work permit. So if you don't have your, co-op work permit, then that's fine. Just bring your study permit along, okay? So you need the photo page of your passport or other government issued ID with your legal name and date of birth, right? Proof of address in Canada. Okay, so your proof of address must have your name on it and match the name on other documents. As I was saying earlier, I need to re-stress this again. All your documentation must have a consistent name on it, be it if you have a very long middle name, last name, and first name, right? The address must match your mailing address in the online application form. Otherwise, Service Canada will likely refuse your application. So that goes back to the theme of just making sure that if you are going to do it online, then just make sure your addresses are matching and they're consistent throughout the entire process, okay? All right, so just please bear in mind that your SIN will not be issued longer than your study permit, and your work permit expiry date. So whatever your expiry date is on your study permit and your work permit, then they're not going to have a SIN number that's going to be valid after that date. Okay, and then if you do decide to continue studying at Niagara College, which we're a partner of, or if you decide to go to another school, then you need to revisit and go back to the apply for a SIN website, go to any Service Ontario, give them your new LOA and all your supporting documentation if it's from our school, if it's from a different school, to reapply and to extend your SIN number. Okay. And final point down there is we won't be forwarding any of the SIN numbers to you. We will not be forwarding any type of mail if you choose to write your address, if you choose to write our address with all your correspondence. Okay. Okay. Here's further information. So I've actually made the slides here where we will be sharing the slides with you guys. So basically you can just Google it, just, SIN, apply for SIN number, CIC, and then it will give, the first hit is basically the link that I've listed right here. All right. So again, I'm just going through the themes here again. Remember, the mailing address you provide is in the online format must match the address on the proof of your address document, right? So again, I just need to stress that addresses need to be consistent throughout now. Okay. So if all else fails, and if you can't do it online, if you go to Service Ontario and if they're closed, if there's a shutdown, whatever, you can call the hotline at 1-866-274-6627. Okay. Okay, so let's move on the slides here. So we've talked about, getting a bank account, getting your SIN number. Let's switch gears a little bit now to the academic side now. And I believe Nisha is already unmuted there, and she will carry on with the learning preferences. Thank you, Nisha.
Thank you, Fred. So, well, as I was, just mentioning about how diverse we are, the multiculturalism and etc. We also are very diverse in our learning styles. Okay, so each of us have our own preference of learning. All right, so we kind of, have categorized that into different buckets, and we feel that there are some of us who prefer, being the education-based kind of a learning style, which is more in line with classroom training, e-learning sessions, reading books. That's where we feel that we can kind of relate to the content and understand it better. Some of us prefer coaching, being mentored. We like to shadow, we like to role model, we like to see how things are done, and that's how it is done, by networking and having somebody talk to us. So that's more like a relationship-based learning preference. And of course, you do have some of us who prefer learning on the job, where it is, doing a project, doing something hands-on, making mistakes, learning from that, via some hardships. And that is something which would be the learning preference. So if we go to the next slide, we would be seeing, we've put all of those learning preferences, we've taken into account all of those learning preferences into account, and we have actually designed delivery methods, which is active classroom sessions, computer simulations, video and mobile learning, field trips, workshops, and guest speakers. This is what you can find in your lessons. You will find throughout your program, you will have different ways of delivery that is there, and it all caters to different learning, different students with different learning styles. Okay, so it's very interesting. We have designed, our classes in such a way. We have designed the lesson plans in such a way that it is not just one style of teaching, but various styles of delivery methods and teaching that is, out there, and students, all sorts of students can benefit from that. So if we go to the next slide. And of course, for all of this, you do need to have experienced faculty and guest speakers. Let me tell you one thing, that's something that what we are proud of is our faculty. They come in, faculty, when I say faculty, I mean the teachers. They come in with so many years of industrial experience. And that's something that students, over so many modules, we keep collecting student feedback, and we have received just one thing consistently, that is the faculty bringing in the industry into the classroom. And this is something that students value the most, where they can actually get a lot of the Canadian experience itself, like, the whole acculturation happens right in the classroom. The teachers are the first people that they are networking with. And this is something we're very proud of. The faculty, the teachers, the guest speakers that come in have tons of experience, and that's something that brings a lot of value to the classroom. So that's a little bit about what you can expect. Okay, so next to career services, Irene, I guess.
Hello, dear students. Again, thank you for joining again. And as I mentioned before in the introduction, as of the first day of your classes, you have full support of our Career Services Department, and we will be accompanying you all the way throughout your journey with TSoM, helping you with building or modifying your resume to Canadian standards, teaching you to use LinkedIn to your advantage, what to expect from job market, how to get prepared for the interview, and so on. One of the most important skills to practice is, and to take advantage of, is to ability to network and make connections. So next week, when you start your classes, I would like, apart from the academic, give you homework. Please find 4 people you will connect with. It can be student from your class who doesn't speak your language. Find out what is their culture, how it fits into your world, and how you can open your mind to explore, and how you can support each other academic and career endeavors. It can be a student from a different program. You can meet with them, find out what their goals are and how their goals align with yours, and maybe join forces for future collaborations. Someone who works at TSoM, identify the services available, introduce yourself to the staff, tell them your story, your goals, and find out how the team can support you in your learning experience. And another one to connect with is one of your instructors. Build relationship with your program coordinator and facility. And most of it, remember, we are here to support you throughout your journey. Now, next week, when you start your program, you will receive access to Canvas, the platform where you will receive all your homework. You will have access to career services with a lot of useful information, everything career related, updates on policies, jobs available, recorded workshops, and all our announcements. All information and documents for your co-op term also can be found on Canvas. Very useful group for TSoM students on social media is a Facebook group called Students of TSoM. This group is very active, and we post there a lot of part-time jobs, detail on hiring event around the city, and much more. To support you, we also offer you a wide variety of workshops to better prepare you for the workforce. These workshops are offered twice a week. We repeat them every month. So if you missed one of the workshops, you can always view the recording, which is posted on Canvas, or join next month for the same workshops. Some of the workshops are mandatory to attend to be eligible to proceed to the co-op term, and we take attendance. So you will need to make arrangements if you're already working to join one of these workshops at least once during your studies to proceed to the co-op term later on. And now when we have a job fair coming up next week, we added even more workshops to better prepare you for the job fair. The schedule for the monthly workshops is posted on a TSoM website. We also send reminders to you, and we send links to the event. So please be sure to follow the TSoM calendar and check our emails and reminders so you can join the desired workshop. As I mentioned before, we have a job fair coming up. On February 10th, TSoM collaborates with Niagara College Toronto to deliver to you our Spring 2022 internship and job fair. We already have 23 companies registered, and this list is growing every day. The registration page for students for the job fair will be open later this week, and you will be able next week when you join us, review the companies and register to take part in the event. One of the lessons that COVID has taught us is that we can do a lot virtually, and it opened doors to virtual job opportunities that can be accessed from anywhere in the world. So during the fair, you will get chance to meet employers from across Canada for in-person and virtual positions. And it is vital that you register for the event, because only registered student and current student of TSoM will have access to these opportunities. To all the international students, as Fred mentioned, you are able to work 20 hours per week if you are here in Canada. So you can find virtual and in-person part-time positions during the job fair. You will be able to have a chance to, you'll have a chance to connect with employers, and they will be able to guide you toward the desired jobs. As I mentioned before, you also have our support in Q&A sessions. We do arrange Q&A sessions. We not only have our workshop, but we also have Q&A sessions with employers, with immigration consultants, to provide you with all the information possible about the job market. Now I will pass to microphone to Suni, our career services coordinator, who will give you more details about the workshop and give you a preview of what to expect from the co-op term. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Irene, for touching all those things. There's a lot going on in career service. It's hard to encompass everything together, and we have so much coming as well in the new year. So again, just to follow what Irene was saying, along with all our resume and coaching and all these resources that we provide, even one-on-one sessions, and just kind of documentation, walking you through everything you need for co-op, and also showing you where to find everything on Canvas, because we also make sure that that we have videos posted on Canvas on some of these coachings in case you're not able to come to the sessions. You know, again, one-on-one sessions. We always want to empower students so that they learn how to do it yourself. Because after TSoM, you're going to be out in the world, and we want to feel like we've equipped you properly. We are, you know, along with the job fair coming up, that is going to be so exciting. We're doing something with students where we've added one more webinar on Wednesdays. We usually do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now we've added a Wednesday one where we will be giving you tips on how to prepare for the job fair, along with inviting some of those employers that are going to actually be at the job fair. We will be inviting them to come and do a brief orientation and a brief session with you guys, introducing their companies. So we're trying a very, very interactive ways to get students in front of companies. But before doing that, we need to make sure students are prepared to know how to act, how to behave, what kind of questions to ask, how to answer some of these questions, quick thinking tips, interview preparation, communication skills tips. It's not about just getting the opportunity, but being prepared for the opportunity so you can actually make the most of it when it's presented to you. And we understand that. We also, help you with your career profile, where like LinkedIn photo shoots are something that we administer every single month, sometimes even twice a month, where we actually professionally help students take LinkedIn pictures, because we understand it can be expensive to book a professional shoot, and we will never want to see students with selfies on LinkedIn. When I see a student with a selfie on LinkedIn adding me, I'm like, hello, hi, quick tip, change it, come to the session, and so we're very hands-on with your process to career success within TSoM and outside of it. And the first way to start that is actually with co-op, and we're going to get into that in the next slide here. So the co-op portion is a very important part of your actual graduation at TSoM. And again, we'll just go to the next slide here so I can just touch on that a little bit more. So it's really important to remember that 50% of your program is co-op and 50% of your program is the theory. So when we say co-op, what we mean is practical portion. So half of your program here at TSoM is theoretical and half of your program is practical. You need both aspects in order to actually graduate, and you need to successfully complete both aspects to graduate. And it's very important to remember, because a lot of times maybe students might come and then they want to start co-op right away. You have to successfully finish the theoretical in-class portion of your program before you can even be eligible to do co-op. There is the requirements. The first requirement about finishing and even being able to move into the practical portion is successfully completing. That means passing the theory parts. And again, we have, it's online. When I say in class, I don't just mean like in the building, but like obviously attending the classes, making sure you're available. And again, if we could just go to the next slide, I will be able to touch on, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about again in text. But please remember that finishing the in-class portion is very important. That's the first requirement. The second requirement is making sure that you have all your legal documentations in place so that you're able to actually work. And one of the most important documents you need, obviously your study permit, valid study permit, that is, the expiration date is till the end of your program, which is the co-op portion. If you have a study permit by chance that is ending before the program end date, please renew it at least 3 months before the end date. It's really important, especially now with processing times that can be 90 days or more. You want to be proactive in making sure your legal documentations are, dealt with and ensure they're extended, because that could be a hindrance to your completion process. Another very important document you need is the co-op work permit. A lot of students might not know this, but when you apply for a co-op work permit, for study permit, you actually can click the co-op option like this. I will require a co-op work permit with this study permit. Sometimes because it's not as visible, some people miss that that in the application process, you can actually apply after you get your study permit. So when you get your study permit, and even today, as you realize, if some of you today have a study permit or you're waiting for a study permit, but you never applied for a co-op work permit, I really urge you to apply for the co-op work permit. When you get your letter of acceptance and after you get your study permit, if you did not apply for a co-op work permit, you can use your letter of acceptance to apply for a co-op work permit. You just go to the IRCC website and you look up co-op work permit. You should be able to apply, and there is no additional fee. If you've already paid for the study permit and all of that, you shouldn't have any admission fee for the co-op work permit. No immigration fees attached to that if you're using it directly online. This is, again, something very important, because for your co-op, you need your legal documentations in place. And I'm going to show you what a co-op work permit looks like. If we could just go to the next slide. However, let me see here, maybe I can, the next slide before this. There, perfect. So again, some of the co-op eligibility requirements, like I was saying, you need your study permit, work permit, health insurance documentation. All of this needs to be valid before you can even be admitted into co-op. And again, theoretical portion of your program has to be successfully completed in order for you to be co-op eligible. If not, the hours don't count. Another important thing to remember is that you shouldn't have any owing balance on your account at TSoM. So, it's very important to, we understand different situations. So please speak to us prior to the co-op start date. Speak to our financial department, our student service team, and they can guide you as to how to go about the payments and create, some sort of direction on paying that before co-op starts. Because again, that is an eligibility requirement. It's really also a very big advantage that a lot of students have a study permit. When you have a study permit and you're in Canada, again, you have to be in Canada, you can work part-time while you are still taking classes. When you are, again, in the theoretical modules, you can work part-time with your study permit. You can make extra money on the side, to help with some, your daily activities, whatever you need, but that is only part-time. And when I say part-time, I mean 20 hours. Full-time here is 40 hours, part-time is 20 hours. So 20 hours is the allowed amount of hours while you are taking the theoretical portion of the program. Something really important to remember. And we go over a lot of this in detail through all our sessions with you guys, because we understand that this is very important to know. Okay, so again, really important to be eligible for co-op before coming to us and saying, I'm co-op ready. There's so many different ways to find co-op, and we assist you with that. We have a lot of partner companies that we work with. We post a lot of positions on Canvas where we send you emails, hey, these are positions for these programs. If you're in cybersecurity, business program, digital marketing, all the programs, we have specific companies, we have different openings, and we're constantly looking for positions for you. We even have a special code for our TSoM students on Ripen, the job search platform, and we vetted all those companies, so we know that you'll be in good hands. Again, we have a lot of different opportunities for you, but it's also very important for you to learn how to look for co-op placements yourself, because it teaches you job search skills. It teaches you networking skills. How do you present yourself? How do you write a cover letter? How do you make a resume that suits your experience, your education, and what skill set you have to offer? And now how do you present that in an email format? How do you present that in an application? This is like a basic life skill in the career field that you have to learn. And we really push for students to learn that, in also trying to secure their own placements. While we're placing you, you actually go out there and get your feet wet in the job market. So that way, some students actually bring their placements to us like, hey, Suni, I've actually found a part-time job that I've been working at when I came into the country, and I can use the same job for co-op because it looks like it actually works for me. So now here's my documents for co-op. That is an option as well. So there's different ways to go about co-op. We also have the capstone project in case maybe there's an emergency or something happened and students are not able to, start co-op on time. There's a capstone project that we actually, administer for students, that is a project-based approach to co-op that allows you to be mentored by a very well-informed person in the industry that helps you use that type of project for a portfolio or something that adds to your employment documentation. So again, there's quite a few different ways to attain a co-op. So co-op attainment is we are very supported with resources here for you, but it's very important for you to communicate with us prior to the co-op start date. We always advise students, again, we'll have a Q&A session at the end. I see people raising their hands. I know we have a lot of questions, but please write your questions down and we will answer them as we go along here. But again, there's different opportunities and we will talk. We always say minimum 3 months before your co-op start date is when you want to start preparing for co-op in terms of placements and things like that if you don't already have one. Some companies actually look for co-op placements a year in advance, like especially banks or bigger companies. Sometimes they will put out, 2022 summer internships. They were already putting it out by the end of summer, like 2021. So it's very important to know the trends of different industries, depending on what program you're in, and understand what you need prior to. Every industry is different and they also have some similarities. Again, we walk you through some of these things. So again, these are ways to get co-op, but it's also important to know that you are supported, but you are the active player in this. Even in the placements that we're able to find for you, at the end of the day, it is up to the company who they want to take in. If they talk to you and they don't find much of the chemistry there with the team or anything, it's up to the company to choose what's best for the company. So we prepare you before you go to these things, so that way and you're presenting yourself in a way where, like, why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't they want to take you as the best option? So again, a lot of things go into the preparation process, but please, co-op work permit, very important. Apply for it if you haven't already, along with your study permit. If you have your study permit, but you don't have a co-op work permit, please go ahead and apply for it, because it could take up to 90 days or more, depending on the global situation, where you are in the world, what citizenship you have. Like, it could vary based on where you are. So it's better to be safe than sorry. So start sooner than later. Okay, finding co-op placements. And again, the co-op is so beneficial, and I think it's fantastic. And you guys are quite lucky that TSoM actually applies co-op to programs, because the job market now heavily looking for experience. And that used to be sort of the discrepancy where it's like, I study full-time, but when I go out, they ask me for experience. How was I supposed to get experience when I was full-time studying? So now, the job market is changing, where even programs are now catching up to co-op placement and experience before graduation. So we really advise students to take advantage of the co-op opportunity, to use it to gain experience. It is an experience. It's not just to come to Canada to just work any job. You have to actually get a placement that is in line with your program. You go onto Canvas. When you go onto the career service module, you'll see your co-op package under the co-op policy. You download the package, and there's forms attached to the package that you have to submit to us, so we can review the position to make sure that it is program relevant. So if you're in the business program, you send me co-op confirmation letter with all the job details, supervisor information, all of that, and we vet them. We are going to call to make sure, okay, is this a legit placement? Do you have a website? Are you going to be offering how many hours? When is it going to start? When is it going to end? And then we get attendance reports from you every single week for hours completed and job tasks conducted. So we are very hands-on in making sure that our students are in the right placement and also taken care of, because again, our name is on your work permit, on your co-op work permit. Our name is on it, Toronto School of Management. So we have to review and either accept or decline placements and check in to make sure, are you actually doing what you need to be doing? The co-op work permit is not an open work permit. You can't use the co-op work permit to just work anywhere. The co-op work permit, I think I have a picture of it in the next slide. If we could just move to the next slide. The co-op work permit, again, so as you can see in the first bubble, it says Toronto School of Management as the employer. So we have to review every single placement. It's a closed work permit. You can't work just anywhere. You have to work under the reviewed and confirmed placement for co-op. At the bottom, it says this actually is it has to be 50% of the portion of your program, because practicum in Toronto School of Management is 50% of the program. So it has to be only that used for the program of study. So again, these are legal stipulations that tell you that you can't use this co-op work permit to, like, as a open work permit to work anywhere. It's actually, it is only for school. It is an actual, that's why it comes with your study permit. It is still an education package. It's in your education package. This is very important to remember. But for those who want to work part-time, even before co-op, you can use your study permit that allows you to work part-time 20 hours while you're on your study permit. But with your co-op work permit, it is strictly for co-op and you can only start it when your co-op starts and you're counting your hours with co-op. Okay, very, very important to remember. Some students can do 20 hours of their part-time work, and some people maybe want to keep their part-time work while they're in co-op. You can then take co-op part-time for 20 hours, and then you have maximum 40 hours. Again, you can only work around 40 hours maximum in total. So how you want to divide it is up to you. But if, let's say, you're a server when you came to the country and you're just making, extra cash being a server, but then you're in a business program and you got, an admin role with the company, or, an office administrator role with the company for co-op, you can do that 20 hours if you want to keep your server job, and then you're still able to maintain both positions with a maximum of 40 hours. You can do that if you want to do co-op full-time, you can do it full-time, but if it's paid, you can't have a part-time job. And it's really important to remember that not all co-op is paid. Co-op, again, it comes with your study permit because it is under your condition for studying and being in the country is studying. Education. So your co-op work permit is an added educational document, immigration document. So the emphasis here is experience. Experience is what you want to be focused on when it comes to the co-op portion of your program, not money. If you want to kind of make extra cash, again, use the 20 hours on your study permit. Not all co-op placements are paid, and you got to think about it from the company standpoint as well. When it comes to this province, some companies will not want to invest in something that they're not guaranteed that how you're going to be able to stay. What are your skill sets? You might not have experience in this industry. How do we know that we can invest in this person? Or sometimes some companies, you get a really good relationship with them and they become an amazing reference for you that gets you to that next level that you need to be. Again, use the co-op time to really think about your career goals and where you're trying to go, and try to get that experience during the co-op. With the extra cash that you need, use the study permit hours that you are allowed, because that is a huge advantage, because you're able to work while you're doing co-op. If co-op is paid, then if you're going to do co-op full-time, you can't have a part-time job on the side. If co-op is paid and you're doing it part-time, 20 hours, then you can keep a part-time job outside of co-op as well to make it full on 40. But if your co-op, again, is not paid, then you can have a part-time job still that's only 20 hours. Again, I can understand that sometimes some students have so many questions around this. This is why we have so many info sessions. We have so much back and forth, and we say, come to us, we'll explain. We come in front of your classes in your first modules, we explain so much of it, but we can only do so much. You have to be receptive to actually coming to us and seeking our support. And so that way we are able to support you through the process. Again, study permit, co-op work permit, those two documents are absolutely necessary. When you get into the country, health insurance documents, these things are mandatory before we even think about co-op. And then no owing balance and successful completion of the theoretical module. You cannot do co-op and the theory part at the same time. It's not possible. If you want to work part-time, you can work part-time, but it's not going to be counted towards co-op until you are co-op eligible, which is after successfully completing the in-class portion and having these additional documents, okay? Again, really important to remember some of these things. And again, on the next slide, I can show you guys, we do have bi-weekly webinars. And now for this month, till the job fair, it's going to be tri-weekly. whew, I'm going to need a lot of water because of all that talking. But we want to make sure that you are so prepared that when you're in front of any employer, you have that self-confidence in knowing what you have to offer, your hard skills, your soft skills, your communication skills, and some sort of like confidence in being able to portray that in a way that, you know, seems like there is very high value added. Okay, so again, our webinars are every Tuesdays and Thursdays, typically at 2 p.m. And we're going to have an additional one for the job fair on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Again, everybody has to attend the webinars at least once before co-op as one of the eligibility requirements. All our webinars, we repeat them every single month. We add different ones to make it more resourceful based on what you guys need, like student inquiries, like, hey, Suni, like this was really great. I would love to learn more about this. Or then we add different, you know, based on your feedback, we keep adding and switching. And so, but we repeat them every month to ensure that every single person has a chance to attend. If you're not able to attend one month, but everybody needs to attend the webinars at least once, all the webinars before co-op. That is one of the requirements. We do record them and put them on Canvas, but again, even with the recordings the students watch, I still get so many emails about questions. So again, it's best to just come, have 100 and something students, 200 students at one webinar, answer all the questions, and then we repeat that again every month. Really important to remember. And we have one webinar that is an immigration-centered webinar every single month for students to come every month to ask, you know, immigration related questions. So again, the resources are immense. You just have to tap into them, and we are available. Career services at torontosom.ca, torontosom.ca. If it's confusing, we are here. Please connect with us. We can only do so much, but we need you to actually connect with us so that we can continue our, you know, level of support with you. Again, like Irene said, we are here to support you. If it's overwhelming, too much information, oh, what do I do? My situation is different. It's never unresolvable. Every situation we can always solve. Just reach out to us, and better sooner than later. Okay, that's what we would always advise. Again, we are here to support you. Thank you so much. I will pass it on to the next person for enrollment.
Thank you very much for that, Suni. So just to, you know, reverberate and to, you know, emphasize some of the points there, always try to start as early as possible when you're trying to look for a co-op, and always go to your Canvas account, keep an eye out on the links for the workshops, the seminars, and the workshops where it's really going to aid you to, you know, be able to seek that, you know, co-op placement as soon as possible. You know, don't wait until the last minute or like email student services or career services back and forth. Just be in front of it and be proactive, and we, you know, this is going to go by a lot more smoothly for you, the student, right? So thank you again, Suni. So we're going to backtrack now and talk about enrollment. So I do understand that there are some students here that are currently still not enrolled yet. You know, the you know, signifier there is that you don't have access yet to your Canvas account, or, you know, you don't even have access to your student portal. So for those that are still not fully enrolled yet, here is, you know, the step-by-step. I'm going to go through this quickly on how to enroll to your program. Okay, so just to run through the list very quickly, the minimum requirement for us to enroll now is to have your study permit application acknowledgement letter. So this is the letter that you would have received at the beginning of your study permit application. So if you're doing an online application, it's going to be $150 Canadian. And then a couple of days later on your IRCC portal, you're going to have something called the acknowledgement letter. Don't worry if you don't know what that looks like. In the subsequent slides, I'm going to show you some samples of what's what to see where you're at in the study permit application process. Okay, you're going to need health insurance if you are going to be traveling into Canada. Right. If you are overseas, there's no need to purchase international student health insurance at this time. Right. You're going to need your visa. Right. So there's two major categories of visas, you know, in the immigration system as it pertains to students and also in general. So if you're from certain countries, you're going to get something called the ETA visa, Electronic Travel Authorization Visa. So with that, that is a visa that is electronically linked to your passport. So you're not going to get like anything additional with that, right? So you can only check to see if your ETA visa is valid for travel if you look on the IRCC portal. In the subsequent slides, I will show you the link for the IRCC portal. You can go online and check to see if you do fall into that country. So for example, I know that students from Mexico uses electronic travel authorization documents. Which is not a document, but electronically linked to your passport. Students from Japan use ETA as well, and a certain select other countries use ETA as well. The vast majority of students will be using another visa called the TRV visa, which is the actual label that they glue into your passport. That's called the TRV, Temporary Resident Visa. Okay. Again, I'm going to show you some samples as we move along the slides to show you what's what. Okay. So with that being said, to enroll, study permit application acknowledgement letter, and everything after that we can accept for your enrollment into the Toronto School of Management. Okay. And let me show you what I mean. Okay. So this is going to be a study permit application acknowledgement letter that you will receive, either in the paper format if you're doing like a paper application. If you're doing online application, this will show up either in your email and also your IRCC portal. Okay, so on the right-hand side, you see, this confirms that your application has been received by immigration, refugees, and, citizenship, et cetera, et cetera. So we will use this, document right here to enroll you to online studies only. So with this document that I'm showing you on the screen, you're not eligible to travel to Canada yet, but you can start your studies online. Okay, so that's a huge distinction and important note to take of, when you're applying and enrolling to TSoM with the study permit application acknowledgement letter. Okay, so further down the process, after you receive your study permit application acknowledgement letter, you're going to receive further requests for more information. You're going to be requested to give your GIC, which is your guaranteed income certificates. They're going to request you for biometrics. They're going to request for you to send your passport into the embassy or high commission, wherever the country is you may be in. The end, this is the second to last document that you will receive from the IRCC. So as I was mentioning earlier, for travel, this is the minimum requirement for you to be able to travel into Canada. Okay, it is called the port of entry letter. Okay, so here's a sample. Sometimes it's called the correspondence letter, introduction or introductory letter, depending on what school you're applying to. The different schools call it different names, but for our purposes, we call it the port of entry letter. Right? This port of entry letter is not your work permit or your study permit. What you do is you get your port of entry letter, you get either your ETA visa or your TRV visa. All of that stuff needs to be valid before you can travel into Canada. Okay, so that's the immigration side of everything for you to travel into Canada. On the other side, there's going to be like COVID support stuff, COVID travel documents, proof of vaccinations and things of that sort. I will go into more detail on those items further down the slides, but for immigration purposes, this is the minimum requirement. What's on the screen, port of entry letter for you to come into Canada. Okay. So I was mentioning earlier, you are going to get your study permit at the airport, right? So you're using your port of entry letter to get into Canada. During immigration, you're going to be printed your study permit on the spot. So this is the study permit sample. Just a few things to note on there. Always, 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 tattoo it on your forearm, whatever you need to do. The expiry date of your study permit. You don't want to be in Canada with an expired study permit, because if you're in Canada on expired study permit, immigration has a right to boot you out of the country, for the lack of a better term and phrase, right? So it's always important to keep in mind that, there might be a plethora of things that happen throughout your program, right? So for example, you're studying, you have a family emergency, you need to go back to Venezuela for 2 months, right? Your whole program's going to shift forward, right? So it's very important to always be mindful of where you're at in your program. If you need to take a authorized leave for like a vacation or something like that, please be mindful that your whole program, including your co-op, shifts forward, right? It may exceed the expiry date on your study permit, okay? So again, always be mindful of where you're at in your program. How many months do I need to finish? And does that exceed the expiry date on my study permit? Okay, if it doesn't exceed, you're good to go. If it exceeds, we need to support you to get a study permit extension, okay, which is an entire different process, okay? But we can't help you unless if you come to us to say like, oh, Mr. Lam, now I'm in a program, I still need 4 more months additional to finish my co-op. And then I'll say back to you, sure, why did you miss 4 months? Okay, you were on vacation, there was a death in the family, you had COVID, you had the flu, you had surgery, et cetera, then we will support you to get the extension for an additional 4 months to complete your program. Okay, fair enough? Now, I'm going back to that visa sample now. Earlier, I was mentioning the TRV visa and also the ETA visa. There's nothing to show for the ETA visa because the ETA visa, again, is linked directly to your passport. Okay, there's nothing that's glued into your passport. There's nothing additional. There's no additional documentation on that one. The TRV visa is what the vast majority of you guys are going to get. TRV visa, again, is the label that they actually glue into the passport. Okay, so the TRV visa and also the ETA visa, the expiry date should be the same expiry date as your study permit and also your work permit as well. Okay, so again, if your TRV visa, the expiry date versus your study permit expiry date is different, there's a problem, right? Then you would bring it to us and then we'll see what happened. And perhaps there was some typo somewhere and we will sort it out for you, okay? So I'm not a regulated immigration consultant. I've just been doing this for many, many years. We do have two in-house immigration consulting companies that you can work with for very specific situations and things of that nature. The first company is going to be called Incubate, and their email is listed there, connect@incubate.ca. The second company is called WorldGates, and then their email is admissions@world-gates.ca. Okay, so again, we're going to provide these slides at the end of the orientation. We're also going to have a recording, so don't worry about jotting these down. But there's only a certain point where we can help you to get your visa, but there's certain localities, there's certain areas in the world where we need to help you seek professional help. Okay. So there are a few key highlights to enrolling at the Toronto School of Management. Two major things, right? So, you can study with your study permit application acknowledgement letter just to start online, right? While you're still waiting for your actual port of entry letter and your study permit, right? So at any time throughout your program, if you do get a visa refusal, you are eligible for a full refund minus the administrative fees that are associated with your program, okay? Typically it's $250. Right. So we also have point number 2 is we also have a robust pathway program. So we do understand that for a lot of students that are inbound, Toronto School of Management is just but a stepping stone to go to a different university, to go get your bachelor's degree, or perhaps even try to apply for your work permit as well, right? So we are here as a comprehensive solution for your cradle to career type of services, such as, we have, further program offerings where we are partnered with the Niagara College Toronto, where those programs actually do offer PGWP as well. So as everyone knows, PGWP is a postgraduate work permit, and it is your pathway to get your PR, permanent residency here in Canada. So near the end of your graduation, you can always contact Student Services. We can give you more information if you do decide to transfer to Niagara College Toronto or our other partners within the global university systems and our different brands. Some students select to go to University Canada West and out in Vancouver, if that's your thing. So also PGWP ready. So to aid you in your long-term immigration plans, if you do indeed to choose to try to stay in Canada for the long term, okay? Okay, so very quickly, I'm gonna go through the enrollments slides and things like that. So pretty much if you're here today, 99% of you guys probably have been enrolled already. If you're not, this applies to you. Once you get your letter of acceptance, you're going to get an email that you see on the screen right there. It says, student, welcome aboard. Congratulations on your acceptance to TSoM, and you're asked to activate your account. Now, this email that you see right there, that is the email where you activate your student portal. The student portal is where you're going to upload all your immigration documents, right? So if you decide to study online, then you're going to be uploading your application acknowledgement letter to the student portal, right? Then from there, we'll see it, and then we're going to verify it, and then we're going to get you enrolled, okay? So just a little bit more detail. Once you activate your student portal, you're going to see the My Documents section. Under the My Documents section, you're going to see like stuff that's not been uploaded yet. And it's simply a question of, saving your file as a PDF onto your desktop, just dragging it and dropping it into the student portal. It uploads automatically. And on the back end, we see all the documents that are being uploaded, and we will go and certify your documentation. Okay, so after uploading your documents, there's no need to email us to say that you've uploaded your documents. Once we confirm you are eligible for enrollment, we will update your student profile to enrolled. Okay, then the academics department will be notified. Then you're going to get an additional link to Canvas. So to be clear here, there's two separate systems. On our side, Student Services, we primarily deal with the student portal. And that means all the immigration documents being uploaded and then us like verifying it. It's our job to inform the academics department that you are eligible and have been enrolled to TSoM, and automatically the system will send you an invitation to Canvas. Okay, so Canvas is the second part, a different system where it's primarily used to attend classes. Okay, so again, two systems. One system is student portal, that's administrative stuff. The other part is going to be Canvas, where you're going to take your classes, view the Zoom recordings, what have you. Okay, so this is a very common question I get asked, like, so what happens if my documents are no go? Right? Let's say if I upload a study permit application acknowledgement letter that's expired, right? What is going to happen is our team is going to verify your documentation, and then they're going to write rejected. So we're going to, on the system, we have a switch we flick, and it's going to say not accepted, right? So once you see not accepted, then it's expired, or you've simply uploaded the incorrect document. Then we just kindly ask you guys to go ahead and upload the correct documentation. Okay. Okay, so this is very quickly now just going into the Canvas part of it. So you are going to receive an email from the system where it's going to activate you, ask you to activate the Canvas learning management system, right? So again, this is the second part, right? So we have the student portal, and this part now is the Canvas. Again, Canvas is where you're going to go take your classes, you're going to hand in your assignments. This is Canvas, okay? So create my account. Self-explanatory. Create your password according to the instructions of what they're asking you. It's a uppercase letter, include some symbols in your password and what have you. Okay. After you're done making your password, hit register, right? And then you will be able to gain access to your Canvas learning management system. Okay. So the email that will be you're going to get Canvas from is going to be called no-reply@torontosom.ca. So as soon as on the student portal you see your documentation has been verified, then if you don't see the Canvas invitation email in your inbox, please always go to your junk mail to check, because it is sending from no-reply@torontosom.ca. With that, then sometimes Microsoft Gmail, it might stick it into the junk mail pile. So just make sure you check your junk mail, please. Okay. So we're gonna move on now, and then I'm gonna have Anisha introduce the next part, which is the class model, delivery model. And thank you, Nisha.
Yeah. Thank you, Fred. So, I'm sure all of you all must be having this question as to how is it going to be, what is the class delivery model going to look like, in the coming months, especially the next module, the first module, what is it going to be like? So if so I had one slide before this, I guess. If we could do, yeah. So in Jan 2022, this month, it'll be fully online, especially considering the situation right here. We have kind of, just announced that all the classes will be delivered fully online in Jan. So which means that we would be using Canvas, our learning management system. We would be using Zoom platforms. The teachers would be using the Zoom platform to deliver classes, and that's where you're going to be doing it. Right. And we would be looking at the situation and assessing what the situation would be. And if everything is good to go, then we will continue with the HyFlex model in the following months or modules that you're going to be doing. What does HyFlex model mean? I'm just going to be telling in a bit. So in HyFlex model, we're going to be using Canvas, Zoom, and in-person classes. So in the next slide, you will see what a HyFlex model overview is. So a HyFlex model would be, if students are interested to come to in-person classes, the teacher would be in class. You could go into the class, whoever are interested to go to the in-person classes to meet your classmates, meet your teachers. And those of y'all who are still, not in the country and would like to do it from the comfort of your home and do an online class, you could do the same class. You could be as an online student. So what it means is that the courses are delivered in person and online at the same time by the same faculty member. You'll be getting the exact same, the class would be delivered live to students who are online. All right. So the students can choose to attend certain courses in person, as well as if you want to do it online, you could do it too. So that's the meaning of this HyFlex model. Again, depending on the capacity limitation we're going to be having, whether you're going to have a pre-registration or not, we're going to be waiting and watching for it. If they say there is no capacity limitation, then there won't be any pre-registration required for you to come into the class, to let the teacher know that you'll be coming into the class. And again, we will specify, if we are going to say, okay, these are the days, these are the only days you can come into in-person classes, that also would be specified. Just wait for our announcements and updates for any of those. Okay. Next slide. When we do our, HyFlex model, if you're wondering how it's going to be there, we have our camera. There is a camera in class. The teacher will have the microphone. The teacher will use Zoom platform in the classroom, and that would be what the students in online would be seeing. The teacher would use the whiteboard, which is there in Zoom platform, and that is what is going to be broadcasted to the students. Okay. The next slide. What would a fully online class look like? So you would first get a Canvas invite, as Fred just mentioned, via email. Once you have a Canvas invite, you would then be taken to your, once you accept, get registered, you go into the class, it will take you to the classroom, to each of your course, whichever is a course for that month, it will take you to that course. All right, you can see this is how the course on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see how it would look like. That would be the home page of your course, where you'll see the Zoom link and in-person class details, the Zoom link right on top. Okay, so the teacher would be adding the Zoom link right on top over there. So if you are worried about what the Zoom link, where will I find it? You will find it there or in the announcements. Okay, so then there will be the link. Just click on the link and we'll take you to the Zoom class at that set time. So please make sure that you understand what time the class takes place. If it is 9 o'clock, so that's when you are going into the Zoom link, clicking on the Zoom link and going into your classroom. Okay. There will be Zoom recordings of each class that will be taken and will be posted by the faculty on each week where it is. So find out from your teacher where they're going to be posting it. And then all the tests that are going to be done will be done through using Canvas. Okay, many times you will be required to keep your phone in a Zoom class and then be doing the tests, so that to eliminate any sort of cheating or plagiarism, and so that we know that you are the one taking the test. Okay, so this would how a fully online class work. I'm going to pass it on to Kent, our librarian, who will be talking a little bit about this. Kent.
I don't think Kent's here today, so.
Oh, Kent is not here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So Perlego, I'm just going to continue with this, right? So Perlego database, this is basically, you know, our online library. It's focusing on the delivery of all academic professionals. You have so many titles out there, like, you know, more than 500,000 titles in this particular Perlego database, where basically it's a library, it's an online library where students can use books, they can create their own account. There are all those free accounts for students. Please make sure you take advantage, full advantage of this database, where there are so many free books for your perusal. You can just go over, you know, those course. One is for your course, then you have access to any sort of books there. So you must take advantage of this. So this is basically a database which will give you, you know, tons of books, access to tons of books and course materials. So this is something that, you know, you should, and there will be teachers will talk a little bit more about it when in class. So there is a Perlego registration email, there is a link and a group code. So you should receive it by Jan 10th. If you don't, please contact library@tronosom.ca. Okay. And then, as I was just mentioning, there is this TSoM Canvas library. You will find it in each of your courses. You should find TSoM library, a link. You can see that, you know, highlighted in this on the screen. That is where you would find it, right under student support. You will find TSoM library. So if you know, you can find the link to the Perlego page. You can find more to the TSoM Canvas library as well. There are academic drop-in sessions for students on a regular basis from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. One is for writing, the other one is for math. If you need any help with any of those, make sure you know, you could just drop in. All the details of the drop-in sessions would be found in that link. When you click on TSoM library, you will find it. And, you know, that is the best place. The contact information would be there for any books, resources that you'll need for your course. The contact information will be there over there, and the librarian would be able to help you. Yeah, passing it on to, is it Josh? Is this Fred?
Sejong. Yeah, I think this is Sejong's part here.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Hi, everyone. To the health safety, this is the most important part of these days due to the COVID. So we would like to, you know, send your all the vaccination record to before coming to the Canada. So right now we all fully online. So for now, it's okay. You're not gonna to send it right now, but we definitely need your full vaccination record before coming and to join your in-person classes. So students and TSoM community member and also staff as well be required to be fully vaccinated to return to the campus. And you can email to us regarding your information. If you have anything exemption required or anything increase, you can email to the student service department, and we will help you to get, you know, give you the right answer to the information. And you can send your also through the student portal, and there is a document upload section, and also you can upload your full vaccination receipt or the document on the portal as well. So we need, if you're 2 vaccination record, we need both of them. So please upload your document on the student portal, same as other document. please do that, and we'll be good. And then once you upload your document, you will get campus entry, the certificate, which will be you need to show us when you enter to the campus. So then later on, so please upload your document, and also to present your campus entry certificate, as well as whenever you come into the campus, we require to do the campus entry health assessment questionnaire. Every time you come in campus, you need to do this assessment before you're coming in. So to make sure everybody's healthy and safe. Okay, and you can just see when you arrive at campus, please be prepared with your student's number to inform your health and safety coordinator the next to elevator. So in the first floor, our step, the health and safety step, will be sitting there, and it will ask you what's your ID number. Please just show your campus certificate and your questionnaire as well. So you have to show all the steps are good, then you can enter to the campus, okay? But now you are all fully online, and if you wanted to visit campus, we have to make you please email to the student service department before you're heading to the school. Right now, because of all limited access and also limited staff is in the campus, so please call or email us first. We can always make a virtual appointment right now. So to minimize contact, please call or email, and we can make an appointment for you. Okay. So next, we will go to
Yeah, I guess I'll take over from this one. Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, absolutely. So once all your proof of vaccinations are sent to us, I'm going to move on now and speak a little bit about, what it means to be on campus if we are going to be returning to in-person learning, right? So as per public health regulations, mask and face coverings are mandatory, no exceptions, right? Anyone, including students that are outside of Canada in the last 14 days, are not allowed to come to campus, even if they're fully vaccinated. So this is for the students that are traveling into Canada, right? So even if you've arrived in Canada and you are fully vaccinated, even if you do get a negative PCR test, you still are not able to come to school for 2 weeks. Okay, so kitchens will be limited to only 3 people at a time. We're going to be enforcing that on campus. Okay, elevator can only accommodate 2 people at a time. We have 1 elevator, and we have stairs as well. In class and around campus, it's just common sense, right? Maintain at least 6 feet, okay, or about 1.8 meters, between you and your classmates. There's no worries on that one because it's all set up already in the classroom. So if you go into classrooms, there are like seats that are blocked off already. Right, so just choose a seat that is not blocked off, and you are and will be at least 6 feet between you and the next person. Okay, so we're only going to be serving you by appointment only. So even if you are in Canada, you need to email student services, right, to secure an appointment slot, right? So we are going to start turning away people that are just walking in and just showing up downstairs, right? Because we do need to see like your full proof of vaccination and make sure that you fill out the campus entry questionnaire before we can allow you into the building, right? So it's very protocoled now. It's very structured in a way where it maximizes the safety of our staff, faculty, and also our students as well. All right. So, and of course, like when you do make an appointment, if you do send us an email or call us, like just describe the nature of what it is you want to do. Like, so if you want to come get your student ID, or if you need like a printout of a document or something like that, please tell us in advance so we can get you in, get the things that you need and have you leave as soon as possible, so we can service as many students as we possibly can, right? So that will be a great help, and we do appreciate from the administrative team you guys doing that in advance. Okay, on campus you're going to see a lot of these foot traffic signs. You're going to see social distancing measures being in place. We do ask that our students adhere to those and kindly respect each and every person's boundaries, while they're walking around campus, especially in class, please, again, choose to sit in a seat where it's open and where it's not blocked off, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna move this along to Tiju and Alyssa. You guys are co-hosts now, so you can unmute yourselves. So I'll leave the
Thank
next
you,
slide to
Fred.
you guys. Yes.
Okay, so
Thanks,
the
Fred.
next slide would be the other assistances that the student services team can offer to all the students. So first one would be the class registration. So this is when you have submitted all your requirements and are ready to start your program. Then the student services team will begin with your enrollment and send you out an enrollment confirmation email. Please also note that all the necessary documents should be uploaded through the student portal, so it would be easier for us to see it in the back end. And then once the documents are good, then we will be certifying it on our end. But if that's a wrong document that you have uploaded in the portal, then we will leave a note that you will be able to see on your end, so you can change it, upload the right document. And then you can also shoot us an email if you have some checklists inquiry. And then when it comes to updating your contact information, it is also best to reach out to us so we can update your contact information on your student profile on your behalf. And this also includes Canada and overseas address, contact numbers, email address, and emergency contact details. Now, for the health insurance, it is also a must that you submit a copy of your health insurance to us. And if ever that you have not applied for a health insurance yet, and then you need to purchase one, or if you already have one but it's already expired, then you need to renew it, the team can also definitely offer a helping hand for you. Then next, of course, as a TSoM student, we would love to have student ID cards, right? So student services will be your go-to friends in creating that for you. Now, all you have to do is simply send us a passport size photo with a white background. So it should be unfiltered. It should be clear, so we can send you a digital copy of your student ID. Now, if you want a hard copy of the ID, we would be setting up an appointment or a booking as to when you can pick it up in the campus. And then next, when it comes to requesting official letters such as vacation letters, enrollment letters, even graduation letters, you can send us an email at studentservices@torontosom.ca. That's down below the slide. You'll be able to see that. And then if ever in the middle of your journey with us, you will need to ask for an unofficial transcript. So this is a document wherein you will be able to see your grades and the modules you have completed. We can also send you one upon request. However, please note that all the letters and transcripts, that would be $10 of charge for the first issue and $25 for the second issue. Okay, so for requesting the hard copies of the documents, please be reminded it's just the same as requesting for a hard copy of your student ID. It is done through appointments only. And to make an appointment, you may send us an email to student services, including your student number. Always include that. You may be able to put it as the subject line in your email. So student number, your full name, the type of document you are requesting, and then your preferred date and time. And then we will be sending you out a confirmation for as to when you will be able to get your documents in the campus. So the same goes in sending out emails to TSoM. Whatever department it may be, please always include your student number, on the subject of the email for a faster response and resolution. And we assure you that your emails will be responded on a timely manner, no longer than 48 hours, excluding weekends and holidays. Now I'm passing it on to my colleague TJ to discuss the rest of the slide.
Thank you, Alisa, for that. So to continue regarding the services that we provide for student services, another service that we provide is we provide the payment method assistance. This is the type of payment methods that you can make to make your payment, whether it's your tuition fee or if you are asking for an additional payment such as your unofficial transcripts or your letter of enrollment, then we will be providing you the payment methods that we're in. You could pay your the necessary payment that we need. Also, you could also see this other payment methods on the website. Just log into the Toronto School of Management website and you'll be able to see the other payment methods. And also another thing that we also do is that we also offer printing jobs. That is 10 cents per page, and this is only a cash basis only. You have to send us shoot us an email or send us an email to studentservices@torontosom.ca for the printing services that you want. And also, just a friendly reminder, this is once there that we have already printed the job that you have requested us, you picking up these documents, it should be on appointment basis only. So you have to schedule an appointment through student services so that we could allocate a schedule for you on the time and date where you can pick up the documents. Okay. And also another thing that we also provide is a Toronto tips. It's more on the tips on how to go about with the area on Toronto, such as, for example, asking for the TTC pass or the train pass, how to get that, we would be able to provide that. And also, since Toronto School of Management is a diverse college or diverse school, we have a very wide variety of support group for the LGBTQ community. So this is for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, and queer community. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask us about this. And also, since we are experiencing the COVID or the pandemic right now, TSoM is very supportive with the mental health of each of our students, faculty, and the rest of the members of the community, because it's very important that we ask the welfare of our students as well as our faculty. And sometimes we also conduct seminars on how to be able to help you in supporting you with your mental health issues that you are facing, or if ever you need some if you for example you would be needing to have a time for yourself because you're experiencing a mental health problem, then feel free to contact us and we'll be able to help you with this one. And also lastly, for any other personal or non-academic matters that you are facing, feel free to contact student services because we will be freely to help you or assist you with any issues that you are encountering. Just send us an email at student services so that we would be able to assist you. And what Eliza has mentioned to you, we will be attending that to you in less than 48 hours. That's excluding weekends and public holidays. And lastly, also, as a gentle reminder again, is that if ever you're going to send us an email for student services, it's very important that you include your student number so that it will be easier for us to assist you and resolve the issues that you are having. And also, just lastly, a friendly reminder that for any documents that we will be issuing, whether it's an official transcript or letter of enrollment, there are a fee that is $10 for the first time, and that would be $25 for the second time. And any questions that you have, the email for student services is located in the bottom of this slide. So feel free to check that. That's studentservices@torontosom.ca. And now I will go, give you the mic to Christine.
I don't think Christine's here today for the my TSoM email part. So it's all good. I will continue from this slide. So with my TSoM email, this is a complimentary email that all enrolled students get here at the Toronto School of Management. So basically what it is, after enrollment, just give it like 2 or 3 weeks. After 2 or 3 weeks, we will do the student my TSoM emails in bulk, and we will send you your my TSoM emails via mail merge. So you're going to receive an email maybe 2 or 3 weeks after enrollment, where you're going to get your name, last name, and then at mytsom.ca. So whoop-de-doo, right? You have a new email, but the whole point of getting this new email is you can go and get your Office 365 license going. So you can use like Office, Microsoft Office Word, Excel. You can use this email to go get your Amazon.com Prime, Apple Music at student and preferred rates. So just wait after enrollment, three weeks or so. We will be sending out your emails in bulk. By the end of the 3rd week, if you don't have your my TSoM email, please go ahead and email student services, and then we will do it for you manually. So that's pretty much the discussion on that one. Let's talk a little bit about the student experience, telephone and chat support. Alyssa, do you want to talk about this one very quickly? Or not? Okay. So with the My SSP program here, this is a completely free program. Okay. So basically, if you are running Apple phone, if you are running Android, you go to the Google store, you go to the Apple store, you go and you search for My SSP. All right. So we work with a company called GuardMe Insurance, and they've even if you're not buying insurance from this particular insurance company, this is a hotline and also an application that you can use. What this application is that you can go on this app and then you can schedule like a mental health counselor at any time free of charge. Okay. Because, when we were doing this, we understand that, we are like everyone's studying online now. Everyone's like isolated at home. Everyone's cooped up at home. Stress eating is a huge thing, right? Chips and, candies and whatnot, chocolates. So that's all adds to that allure of trying to, maintain a healthy, lifestyle and balance if you are studying online, and to try to assist you in that fashion. Okay, so these are the My SSP app, app supports and the phone numbers and hotlines you can call. Again, you don't need to copy or make a screenshot of this page. We will have a recording of this orientation available, and also the slides available to students as well. Okay, so I'm going to move this and let Kuda talk a little bit about the scams and the scam alerts here in Toronto, what you should be aware of. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Fred, and hello once again. I'm going to talk about scams in Canada. So we are one of the safest countries out there. I think we're probably in the top 5 of the safest countries in the world. And with respect to Toronto itself as a city, we're maybe in the top 3 safest cities in the world, but we're not entirely safe from the problem of scammers, right? So we do have a lot of scammers out here in Canada. And just to give you a statistic, as of November 2021, the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center reported that $163 million was lost, through scams, right? So this is not meant to scare you, but it's meant to, just prepare you and, so that you can safeguard your information, you can safeguard your finances as well. And, just be alert to the fact that scams do exist, and scammers often pretend to be someone you trust, right? So when dealing with uninvited contacts from people or businesses, whether it's over the phone, by mail, email, or text, in person or on a social networking site, always consider the possibility that the approach may be a scam, right? So remember, if it looks too good to be true, it is probably not. And one, common phrase I like to use is, when in doubt, just stay out, right? So, the most common types of scams affecting people here that you need to be aware of include what we call spear phishing scams, right? So this include, but it's not limited to texts and suspicious texts and emails, from people, pretending to be the government or certain companies. They impersonate different people or different organizations. And in this way, your information can be stolen, and they can have access to your bank accounts, and your finances may be at risk as well. And they might contact you, claiming that they're from the IRCC, or maybe they're immigration consultants. So please do take your time to verify that whoever you're in contact with is a very legitimate person as well. And one of the most common scams affecting people here as well is merchandise scams, right? So you might want to purchase some products online, and we do have quite a lot of scams hiding behind some of those online selling platforms, eager to pounce on you and to steal your money, or whatever it is. So this might be through fake ads, fake advertisements, fake websites that sell fake things as well. And it might be through housing as well. We've had quite a number of students as well who have been affected by this. And it might be through, job scams as well, right? When you're looking for a job. So, take extra caution as well when you're applying for your job, and make sure that whoever you're in contact with is from a legitimate company, right? And one way you can make sure that whoever you're dealing with, or whatever organization or company you're dealing with, is legitimate, is you can always Google that company, Google for the reviews. If it's a legitimate company, there's always going to be a lot of information about that company or organization on the internet, right? There are always going to be reviews as well. So that's where you can, make sure that because what happens is, if you're dealing with scammers, at the end, they're going to give you that job, but then they're going to ask you for your direct deposit letters, right? Your banking information. So that's how they get access to your finances. So always make sure that you are taking great caution and making sure that that organization is pretty much legitimate. And services scams, right? Phone scams, credit card scams. We do have a lot of scammers hiding behind fake insurance companies, fake mobile service providers. They always come with good deals that are pretty much too good to be true. So always take note of this. Always do a bit of research to make sure, again, that company, organization, or that service provider is a legitimate company. And also, scammers also do hide behind dating sites. So please take caution as well when you're visiting different dating sites, or when you're communicating with different people through dating site. Because what happens is, if they ask for your number, if they ask for your address to meet up, that's how also they get access to your information, right? So a couple of things that you should be aware of is never send money to someone you have never met face to face, right? So this is because you always need something or somewhere to refer back to, right? If you've never met the person face to face and you send them money, you have no guarantee that you're going to receive that service or that product that you've pretty much purchased from them as well, right? So do not also click on attachments or links in unsolicited emails. Always be cautious when you receive suspicious texts or emails. So what you can do to make sure that that link or email is from a legitimate organization or company is, if it's a link, just take your mouse and hover around that link, right? And without clicking it, it will pretty much display the link, right? So if it's a legitimate organization, most of the times it will have .ca at the end, right? .ca for Canada. So if it's quite a big company, and it has .com at the end, do a bit of research to make sure that that website is pretty much safe for you to visit, or that link is pretty much safe for you to click, right? Because a lot of the scammers, if you click on that link, that's how they gain access into your personal information and accounts. So please be extremely cautious when dealing with anyone you've met online. So don't be too trusting. Always take your time to think through that transaction, think through, that pretty much exchange of information or whatever it is. And, if that way you can, pretty much take time to think and verify whether you're getting yourself into, you're falling into a scam or not. So likewise, just I've just mentioned, do not be pressured to act immediately. Always take time to think about that transaction, that deal, and that's how you safeguard yourself and your information, right? So another way is be sure to always update and also use privacy settings on social media and on all your online accounts. If you always use privacy settings and make sure you always update them as well, you can always safeguard your information, because it'll be pretty much difficult for scammers to get access into, your accounts and also personal information. And in that regard, always make sure you use complex passwords, right? Always make it difficult for someone to get in to your accounts. And use secure traceable transaction. Say no to cash-only deals and high-pressure sales as well, and handshake deals without a contract, right? So always make sure that there's a contract. Always make sure that you're getting a receipt, because you always need something or somewhere to refer back to if that transaction or that deal goes sideways, right? So always make sure that you're getting a receipt. Always make sure there's a contract that binds the whole transaction, and you can always have somewhere to refer back to, right? So another point is never share personally identifiable information with someone who has contacted you unsolicited, right? So if it's banks or the government contacting you, sometimes they'll pretty much ask you to visit your nearest or your local bank, right? So your local branch. So most of the times the bank will not ask you for personal information over the phone. Same with the government, right? And on that regard, banks and the government will never contact you using automated responses or using automated voices, right? So if you get a call and it's this automated or robotic voice, it's probably a scam. And if you're in doubt, you can always contact the bank directly, and you can use the number at the back of your credit or debit card, right, to contact the bank directly. If it's the government, they're legitimate government contacts, which you can look up, and you can always contact them back, in that regard. So always stay vigilant, and especially when it comes to housing, right? We have a lot of students that have also been affected. They've pretty much paid for their housing without viewing apartments, without pretty much making sure that they're dealing with a person who is not a scammer. So if you're out of the country, we know you need to secure housing well in time, but we highly advise you to make use of the resources that we have on our housing website. We have different housing partners there. They're pretty much legitimate. We can attest for that. And the risk only comes when, you search for housing using maybe Kijiji or sometimes Facebook Marketplace, right? We're not saying you shouldn't, but just take great caution. Don't just be in a rush to send money to secure that apartment without verifying that you're dealing with a legitimate person. And we've had cases where, we've had students requesting for, pretty much proof of identification from people that they were dealing with in search when they were searching for housing, and they've been sent like fake IDs, right? Sometimes it's really hard for you to know if it's a fake ID or not. So, whenever you're in doubt, you can always reach out to us again, and we can always assist you to verify if you're dealing with a legitimate person. But we highly encourage you to deal with, well-known organizations, well-known companies, and make sure the website is legitimate. like I said, one way to confirm this is, just to check for the URL, the website, right? Like the URL code, right? It should have like a .ca at the end most of the time. That's how you confirm that it's legitimate. Always check for the reviews on the internet again. That's how you also confirm that it is legitimate. And same thing when you're searching for jobs, like I said, look for those reviews of whatever company that you're pretty much dealing with, right? So, this is very important information. We look forward to welcome you, in Canada, and please stay vigilant and keep your finances, keep your personal information safe from, scammers as well. Thank you so much. Over to you, Fred.
Yeah, thank you, Kuda. And Kuda, are you here to talk about housing, or is that Josh?
Well, let's see. I'll do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
Yes, so that is the actual perfect tie-in, as Kuda was mentioning, with scams. Housing is like a big target lately, and especially with quarantine and scams for those long-term housing options. So the one thing we do tell students is to kind of avoid Kijiji or Craigslist as much as possible. I know some students have been able to find pretty good roommates using Kijiji, but it's very far in between using Kijiji and Craigslist. So those two resources I would try to stay away from. We do have really good options on our website. So we have our TSoM housing page link here. And when you log into that page, you'll see these 6 options at the top. So we have ForStay, which is our housing marketplace that you can click and you can put in your dates, and all the options will come up that will be around campus only. So if you're looking to stay in the downtown area, ForStay is a great option. Then we have Cast Toronto, which they offer homestay, and they also offer private and shared living spaces. We have live.rent, which is a resource where students can rent their own apartment or condo. So if you have a family, or if you're coming with a significant other, or brother, sister, that is a great spot to look into, because live.rent also lets you sign your papers virtually. So a lot of places, for example, if you go onto other networks, they will have to have, a guarantor. You'll have to have a tour of the place. They want to see you meet in person. Live.rent allows you to do everything virtual. So you're able to rent that condo or apartment when you're in your home country. We have Parkside Student Residence, which is a student residence option. This is if you're looking for that student life and that student atmosphere. So they have lounges, they have a barbecue, they have field trips they do, they have a dining plan, so you get a meal card. It's essentially a buffet where you can pay for whatever you want using that dining plan. You can add money onto it as well. With the student residence option, you will share with 3 other students. Then you have Harrington Housing. That's like a student residence, but you do get a kitchen. Parkside, you don't receive a kitchen. You do have to use a meal plan, but Harrington Housing, you do get a kitchen and no meal plan. It's just our own time. So those are our 6 main options. We do on the website also have other resources. So whether you need to find a roommate, whether you want a different option other than these 6, such as, finding an apartment. If you already have roommates that you know of, then that's another option you can choose as well. We do have our Students of TSoM Facebook page that I did put in the chat, the link, and that's another option to find roommates as well. And we do post some housing tips on there. We have our housing question. If you have any housing questions, you can email housing@torontosum.ca, and we will answer your email at least 48 hours when you do email us. So we'll try our very best to email you right away. Now, with the fun stuff. So we do love having a student life, and we are really big on student engagement here on campus. Pre-COVID, obviously, we had a lot of on-campus activities. That's what we're really known for. We'd love to have activities that show off the cultural diversity of our campus. So with COVID, we have had to revert to everything being virtual. And we are trying different avenues of accommodating all of our students to have virtual fun, whether that be movie nights, which we are planning on. We also like to have students involved. So in the past, we've had a student talent show where students are the actual presentation. So where you get to show off your skills. We actually do have in February a Lunar New Year celebration we are planning. And for example, that celebration will be the students presenting. So if you are a student that is interested in celebrating, whether you want to sing, dance, show off any arts and crafts, even present a discussion, that is something we are planning on. So it's a cool way of showcasing our students. We do have our activity calendar when we do get back on campus, which will be on the 3rd floor at Student Services. And we also have all of our social media handles at the bottom left here. So we have, again, our students Facebook group, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Our marketing team is very active on our social media channels. Any activities and any events will be posted on those 4 main channels. And if you have any activity and event questions, we have our student association email here, which is studentassociation@torontosom.ca. So if you have any ideas or you want to see something, or even if you want to co-host something, we've had plenty of students co-host events whether they're a yoga teacher or they make music beats. We've had students who co-hosted events. So if that's something that you're interested in and it looks great on your resume, then definitely shoot us an email and we will love to get that started. And I think, I think we're going to pass on to Janky. So some code of conduct.
I just want to add like one thing here in terms of the social media portion of our services. I see like in the chat right now that there's a lot of people adding like WhatsApp groups, like TSoM Africa WhatsApp group, like cybersecurity WhatsApp group, etc., etc. Just be mindful that these WhatsApp groups are not sanctioned by any administrative staff here at the Toronto School of Management. Okay, it is not an official channel of communication. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Like, I think the people that start those chat groups have the best of intentions, but when you're referring back to information on the screen, on the bottom left-hand corner now, you see students' Facebook group, students of TSoM, Instagram, Twitter. Those are TSoM's official channels of communication, right? So make sure and be mindful that if you are in those WhatsApp groups, if people are telling you things like in terms of housing, this and that, just be mindful that those WhatsApp groups are not monitored by any administrative staff here at the Toronto School of Management, and just please be mindful. I don't want people paying other people money or like, getting through a transaction and then, coming back to us saying like, oh, I've been cheated out of money or something like that. It has happened before in the past. So again, please be mindful of those WhatsApp groups. Toronto School of Management does not have a WhatsApp group for students. We only go through, again, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as of right now. We do emails, okay? And another thing to add here is that no one at Toronto School of Management will be asking you for your personal information over the phone, over email, and things of that nature. We will ask you to upload documents to the student portal. Okay? So I just want everyone to be fully aware and mindful of, again, the WhatsApp groups that you've been asked to join in the chat that I've been seeing here, okay? So having said that, code of conduct, right? And I think Janky is next. And thank you, Janky.
Yeah, thanks, Fred. So coming to the academic part of the journey. So code of conduct. Here at Toronto School of Management, we need to respect everyone and be considerate towards everyone's opinions, ideas, and how they react to any situations. So we have to respect that people come from different places around the world. So they have different race, religion. We also have different age groups of students studying at Toronto School of Management. So we need to respect people based on their differences and based on their social backgrounds, based on the diversity, different cultural backgrounds. So people come from all variety of places in the world where they have different reactions or different way of answering, speaking, talking. So when you are in connection with different people, it broadens your experience, and it's an enriching experience. So embrace that, and do not harass, intimidate people, or for any reason differentiate people from one another, and on the grounds of color, race, lifestyle, or any other ways. By the time everyone was speaking, I was so quiet. So Fred, next slide, please. Yes, so coming to the attendance policy, since you are here as a student, you need to attend the classes as you are enrolled as a student. So 70% is the minimum attendance that we require for all the students for each module. So 70%, for example, your classes start on Monday, then Monday of week 1, week 2, and then week 3. So each of those 12 days, you need to have minimum of 8 days attending the classes, 8 point something. So please be mindful that if you do not have enough attendance, you may not be given a chance to retake a test or any other chances. So anyone without valid excuse, like if you are sick, if you have any problems, then you need to send email to your faculty ahead of time. Of course, you don't know about last minute sickness, but other than that, if you're unable to give a test on Thursday, you need to let your faculty know ahead of time that something's restricting you from taking that test, and make alternative arrangements. Our faculty is accommodative enough if they are informed ahead of time. And then if you are absent and you are not informing us, you're just not attending classes, and we are not aware that you are not in the class, you have not made any prior communication with me, with faculty, or anyone in the team, then you will be reported to the IRCC as not attending the classes. Be on time. If you are late by 30 minutes after the class starts or before the class ends, you leave early, then your attendance may be marked 50% for the day. So please be mindful of those situations. If you have interviews, if you have something coming up and you have to leave half an hour early, always inform your faculty and let them know that this is the situation, and leave it up to them if they want to give you full day attendance. So, please be mindful of all these things. Next slide, Fred. So now coming to the academic progression. Academic progression means as you pass each module, each month by month, you need to have minimum 60% of the overall average. So for example, in assessment 1, you scored, say, 50% instead of 60%. But on assignment 2 or on the final exam, you scored 80% or 85%. Then overall, yes, you made it. You have scored more than 60%. So overall average should be more than 60% to keep on progressing from one module to the next module. So that's applicable for all the modules. And before moving to co-op, we'll check like if you have attained that 60%. If not, you are considered failed for the module, and you have to retake the module by paying a module retake fees of like it depends on the program and different courses or modules, but it's somewhere between $895 till $1,200. So you have to make that payment and retake the module just like you are taking it again entirely. So please be careful about not missing any assessments and not failing any of the courses. Cheating and plagiarism. Here at Toronto School of Management, we are very strict about cheating, any academic dishonesty, or plagiarism. Plagiarism is something where students say we don't know what is plagiarism. I'll highly recommend all of you to explore it, Google it, and then reach out to me if you have any questions. But plagiarism is one kind of cheating wherein you show someone else's work and show it as your own. Okay, so in any form, from internet, taken from prior student, taken from any essay company or anywhere in the net. So you cannot copy, basically. You cannot copy during your exams. You cannot be cheating with open book if it's a closed book exam. So any form of academic dishonesty is considered not acceptable. And there are very serious implications for it. Payment plan. It is students' responsibility to stay up to date on a payment plan. If you are on a monthly payment plan, quarterly, or whatever payment plan you are on, it's your responsibility to keep up with it. There's $150 of late fees if you make a late payment. And please be mindful that you might not receive constant reminders that you have to make your monthly payment, but you have the payment plan and you have to keep following the payment plan. Okay. One more thing. If you miss any of the payments, your Canvas access may be blocked, and then you will not be able to access Canvas, access classes, access assessments. So in that situation, it is very critical for a student when all of a sudden their Canvas is blocked. So please be careful that it's system which is blocking the student access, and we do not have control over it if you have not made the payment. So please plan and budget your finances in a way that you do not miss out any payments. So when in other situations, your Canvas access can be blocked. Of course, overdue payment, no health insurance, then your Canvas access can be blocked. You cannot be in Canada without health insurance. So if your health insurance is near to expiration or has expired, then your Canvas access will be blocked. Expired study permit, you are on study permit student visa, so expired study permit, you cannot study. So your Canvas access will be blocked. So now coming to the schedules. So our morning schedules for diploma program is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and evening classes, if you are registered, some of the programs have evening classes, and those are from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Thursday. Fundamentals of Hospitality and Tourism courses, modules, they have 9 a.m. till 12:45 p.m. and then there's independent learning time from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So your schedule will be found on, like, when you enroll and you get your Canvas access, at that time, your first course, you will see your schedules over there. You can download those, or you can reach out to us if you have any questions about your schedules. So you can reach out to me and ask me to send you one if you don't have one, but it will be available once your class starts. Okay, so on the first, first course or module, you will see it under there. And your course order may change sometimes due to many different reasons. And if that is the situation, you have to abide by the changes. Okay, now coming to the programs, the next slides. So we have 5 different business programs that you can choose from. All are for different length of time and different duration, basically. So it involves different modules also. So depending on your interest and depending on the time you want to spend for studying, you can choose the program, or you can choose whichever program is suitable. Of course, you can reach out to your recruiter and ask them more, or you can make your choices based on how many years of study it is, how many hours of co-op it is, how many modules you are going to study. Based on those different criteria, you can choose any of these programs. Our Diploma in Business Administration program with co-op, it is 1-year program and it has a mandatory co-op. So how 1 year runs, it's 66 weeks, including the scheduled breaks. So that is 66 weeks in learning. So you first, you have 8 months consistent where you are taking one after another module, and first 3 weeks of the month, each month, you keep on studying. And after the 66 weeks, including the break ends, then you can move to co-op. 24 weeks is the co-op time. So 60 hours per module is the total learning time, including the independent learning assessments and everything. And 24 weeks is a co-op. Diploma in Business Management is a 2-year program. It is double the length than the Business Administration program. Business Administration has 8 modules, whereas Business Management program has 16 modules. And co-op. Co-op is same for both of these programs, Business Admin and Business Management. Both have same number of hours of co-op or number of weeks of co-op. So one is 1 year, another is 2 year. Now, Diploma in Business Management co-op program also has 480 hours of co-op hours, just like Business Admin, okay? Only the number of modules are less, and that decreases the 1 year of the program. Now, our Certificate in Business Essentials program is a shorter length program. It's just 31 weeks, including the scheduled breaks. And then you have 12 weeks in class, which is 12 weeks in co-op, and then 7 weeks in breaks. So this one is a very short time. So total number of modules that you learn is 4. And then after 4 modules, you have a break. And after the break, you move to co-op. So if you are comparing these 3, then Certificate in Business Essentials is a 31-week program. Diploma in Business Administration is a 66-week program. And then Diploma in Business Management is 109 weeks program. So one is, each one you can distinguish, and then based on the length that you want to study, you can choose one of those. We have 2 more programs on the next slide. So we have Diploma in Digital Business Management co-op and Diploma in Digital Marketing co-op. So Diploma in Digital Business Management co-op, this Business Management co-op is a 2-year program, just like our Diploma in Business Management. So don't get confused between Business Management and this Digital Business Management. The key difference between the two is Digital Business Management is like 1 year into study and almost like 1 year into co-op, whereas Diploma in Business Management has a lesser co-op compared to the Digital Business Management. Okay, this one you study 12 modules, unlike the Diploma in Business Management, where you study 16 modules. Next is our Diploma in Digital Marketing co-op. So this is a 51 weeks program, and it is 1 year program. So now you have 2 1-year programs. One is Diploma in Business Administration. One is Diploma in Digital Marketing co-op. And then you have 2 programs which are 2 years. One is Diploma in Business Management and another Diploma in Digital Business Management, both with co-op. So we have 2 programs which are 1 year each. Now this one, Diploma in Digital Marketing co-op, is 51 weeks, unlike our Diploma in Business Administration, which is 66 weeks. So you can check like each of these programs on our website also, all of the modules which are taught under each of these programs, and select based on whether you want to study 1 year, 2 year, or just a short course Certificate in Business Essentials. So this is all about our business programs overview. I'll pass it on to Eddie for the hospitality programs.
Thank you, Janki. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Eddie, again, the Academic Manager for Hospitality and Tourism. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to do the presentation fairly quick and short and precise. So for the Hospitality and Tourism management programs, we offer 4 different, let's say, programs that ranges from the shortest to the longest in terms of time. So I'm going to start with the Certificate in Customer Service Excellence co-op, which is the shortest program that we have to offer. It is a 12 weeks in class plus 12 weeks in co-op. So usually the calendar or the module would run Monday to Thursday, either in the morning or in the evening. Now, next to that will be the diploma in Hospitality and Tourism, which is the one in green. It's a 1-year program. It does come with a mandatory co-op. Again, as Suni had mentioned earlier, you cannot transition to co-op unless if you successfully complete all the modules. The modules are a total of 8, and they will run consecutively. So you will have 24 weeks of co-op, with with 8 more modules before you go to co-op. Next to that, we have the advanced diploma, which is similarly to the diploma in hospitality and tourism management co-op, but instead of 8 modules, we'll have a total of 16 modules, totaling of 109 weeks, including your scheduled breaks, in addition to having a 24 weeks co-op follow. So between the first, let's say, set of modules and the following 8 modules in between, you will have scheduled breaks of approximately 2 months. Lastly, there's another program that we have to offer here at TSoM, which is the fundamentals in hospitality and tourism. This is one of the longest, where you are, technically enrolled into a 2-year program with a mandatory co-op. The program can be offered either in the morning or in the evening. The modules are a little bit longer than the standard, diploma and advanced diploma modules. So instead of having a 3 weeks period, it will be a 4 weeks period followed by 2 weeks, off between modules. Again, I highly encourage you to do your best for each one of these modules once you get enrolled. The last thing you want to do is, unfortunately, as much as I dislike mentioning this word, is not be successful or fail a module that will result, in delays, moving into your co-op segment. And of course, you will have to go through new LOAs and, new study permit and work permits. Just do your best, from the start, and maintain your, high GPA from the beginning. One more thing I wanted to mention is that once you have access also to Canvas, I highly encourage you to change your time zone on Canvas to Toronto Eastern Standard Time. Do not have it set as your home country time, because this will delay or not give you the appropriate access to exams given to you by the instructors. And also always stay in touch with your instructors for any reasons. Don't just disappear. Always stay in touch with your instructors. That will be it for me. Thank you all, and I will send it back to Fred.
I think Nisha's slide for this one for the IT programs.
Is Gabriel there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so is Gabriel there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, so Gabriel, do you want to just go ahead?
Absolutely.
With this? Gabriel is academic manager for IT programs.
I didn't get a chance to introduce myself in the beginning because I'm new to the team, but I'm the IT academic manager for IT programs. I will also be your instructor if you're taking introduction to cybersecurity. So I will be your instructor for module 1. And if you have any questions with regards to the program or even any of the IT programs, I'll make sure I drop my email in the chat. So first program we have is Diploma in Data Analytics Co-op. This is a 1-year program, mandatory co-op, total length 52 weeks. Diploma in Cybersecurity, also co-op. Now, with regards to the IT programs, I know this has been mentioned before, but I really do want to reiterate this. It's very important that you start looking for your co-ops as soon as you start your program. IT programs can be very competitive, especially when it comes to co-ops and placements. And if you have any questions with regards to how you can proceed in that direction and with looking for your co-ops placements in any IT program, please let me know. Fred, next slide.
I just want to add a little bit. So the Diploma in Data Analytics Co-op program, those of you all who are enrolled to this program, this is a little bit different from the other programs in terms of, the length of each module runs for 6 weeks. So each course would be for 6 weeks. Then you have your scheduled break, and then you move on to the other module. So you have 4 modules in this program. And I guess we missed mentioning that the schedule for data analytics programs is a little bit different. It runs from Mondays to Fridays, unlike the other programs, which is from Mondays to Thursdays. So if you're in a data analytics co-op program, your program runs from Mondays to Fridays, same time in the morning, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Okay, so this is something that I just wanted to add. And the co-op length is also just shorter than the other programs in terms of, it's 240 hours, intense and great opportunity there for all of you. So I just wanted to add to this. Go ahead, Fred.
Okay, so that's most of the academic stuff over there. Thank you, Gabriel and Nisha Janke, for explaining in such detail. Right now, we're going to speak a little bit about quarantining and legally and safely traveling here to Toronto. This latter part here, myself, Kuda, and Josh are going to be speaking a little bit about vaccinations, what the situation is at the airport right now, and also what to expect and what to do. Okay. So as I was mentioning earlier, I was mentioning for enrollment, your study permit application acknowledgement letter, your port of entry letter, et cetera, et cetera. As of right now, the immigration documents you need for travel, again, I'm going to repeat here, is your port of entry letter, also your Trv visa, if it applies to you, and also your Eta visa, if it applies to you as well. So with these documents, you can, on the immigration side, travel here into Canada. Right. Okay. So once you have all that documentation and you're already about to travel and you're deciding on flights, you're deciding on when to arrive in Toronto, housing, all that stuff, please email covidsupport@torontosom.ca. Now, the purpose of you guys emailing covidsupport@torontosom.ca is that we need to have a chain of custody of each and every student that comes into Canada. So what does that mean? That means as soon as you get onto your flight, we need to ensure that you have Canadian health insurance, number one. Number two is when you do arrive here in Canada, right, you may or may not have to go quarantining depending on your PCR tests, which I'm going to go into a little bit more detail, right? And also to support you throughout your quarantine process if you do need to do a quarantine. More information on the next slide here. Okay, so I'm going to let Kuda speak a little bit more about, the quarantine for the fully vaccinated international travelers and to see if anything's changed.
Thank you, Fred. So when it comes to, traveling to Canada, like Fred just mentioned, you need to reach out to COVID support first before doing anything else. So before you even book your flights, you need to send an email to COVID support, and we'll go over your student profile to make sure if you have any outstanding tuition or if you need health insurance and whatnot. Now the reason also is we will ask you to do that is should we tell you that you're missing or you have an outstanding amount of tuition or health insurance and you pay via bank transfer, sometimes it takes about 10 to 14 days for us to receive the funds in our accounts. And the resulting thing is we can only issue your travel support documents when you've paid all your tuition from your previous installments and if you have health insurance, right? So if you book your flights before contacting us and then you need to pay for all these things through bank transfer and we haven't confirmed receipt of funds, we will not issue your travel support documents or we will not issue insurance, right? Because we need to confirm that we received the funds, we need to have them allocated, and we need to go on and create insurance and make sure that we process your documents and send them to you in time. So the best thing is if you're going to travel to Canada, before you book your flights, 2 weeks before, reach out to COVID support, notify us that you need to travel to Canada on such an intended date, and then we'll go ahead and tell you what you need to send to us in terms of documents, right? Because we need to confirm you have the proper immigration documents in place, and we need to make sure also that you are compliant in terms of vaccination and all that sort, right? So we need to send you a lot of information, important information as well, that you need to go through and make sure that you're compliant in before you board that flight to Canada. So always make sure before you book your flights that you reach out to us, right? If you reach out to us within a day or two of your travel, we might not be able to get everything ready for you. And you might need to postpone your flights, or if you do decide to travel without, those travel support documents, we cannot guarantee you entry into Canada, right? We have a lot of students who've been returned because they didn't have the requisite letters with them to confirm that they're international students. So that's why we need you to contact us before you even think about traveling, right? So just to go over a couple of updates from the year 2021 going into 2022 with respect to vaccination and COVID tests and other travel requirements. If you're fully vaccinated with any of those vaccines I'm going to mention here, you can travel to Canada. You may be exempt from quarantine, or if you're randomly selected, you may be required to undergo a PCR test upon arrival at the airport, and also quarantine, until you receive a negative test result. So, beginning July 5th, the government, mentioned that if you have Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, or Johnson & Johnson, you will be allowed entry into Canada, right? So you need to be fully vaccinated with any of those vaccines. And as of, I think, November 19 or 31, if you're also fully vaccinated with Sinopharm and Covaxin, you are also allowed entry into Canada, and you're also exempt from quarantine, right? Subject to that random arrival PCR test. So what is happening now is, starting January 15, if you're not fully vaccinated with any of the approved vaccines in Canada, you will not be permitted entry into the country as an international student, right? So Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, I think probably we should move on to the next slide. That's where we have, the vaccines listed. So if you are fully vaccinated with any of those vaccines mentioned in the slide there, you can safely travel to Canada. But this is, if you're not fully vaccinated with any of the vaccines mentioned there, up until January 14th, you will be allowed entry into the country, but you'll need to take up the 14-day mandatory quarantine, right, at the Crown Plaza. So this is only up until January 14, right? So 10 more days to go. But as of January 15, if you're not fully vaccinated with any of the vaccines listed there, you will not be allowed entry into Canada. So you need to make sure that you're fully vaccinated before you can travel to Canada. And also make sure that you must take your after you get that second dose of vaccine, or after you get fully vaccinated with any of those vaccines, you must be 14 full days before you can travel to Canada, right? In order to be considered fully vaccinated. So what is happening now is you still need to do the pre-arrival test. Let's move on to the next slide, please. So you still need to do the pre-arrival test, the one that you need to take 72 hours before, that scheduled departure time of your last direct flight to Canada. But also upon your arrival, the governor is working on making this mandatory. If when you arrive at the airport, you might be randomly chosen to take a COVID PCR test, right? So you need to have a quarantine plan. When you arrive in Canada, the border official is going to request you for a quarantine plan, and is going to question you, based on that quarantine plan to make sure that it's safe and suitable. So whether you're fully vaccinated or not, you still need to have a quarantine plan. And for the not fully vaccinated, up until January 14th. And if you're fully vaccinated again and you need help with your quarantine plan, there's something called a quarantine assessment tool. If you go on Google and just type in, Government of Canada quarantine assessment tool, this tool will guide you in terms of, coming up with a safe and suitable quarantine plan. Because like I just mentioned, the border official is going to question you based on that quarantine plan to make sure that it's safe and suitable. And because you might be randomly chosen to take up the PCR test. And when you do take that PCR test, you will be required to quarantine until we get a negative PCR test result. So how long that quarantine is going to take, it might be maybe 48 to 72 hours, depending on how fast, they, give you those results. But take note that if you do test positive, you will be required to extend your quarantine. But public health will obviously pull you and advise you of the next steps, right? So moving on to the next slide, if you're not fully vaccinated up until now in January 14th, you will need to undertake the 14 nights and 15 days mandatory quarantine at the Crown Plaza. Cost is $1,579.76 all in, inclusive of transportation. All meals and Wi-Fi is also included in the room. There's a TV, fridge, coffee and tea station, and 3 meals on a 5-day cyclic menu, right? So cyclic menu rather. So please do take note of this if you're not fully vaccinated with any of the vaccines approved in Canada. So the reason why you have to quarantine if you're not fully vaccinated up until now in January 14th is based on our reopening plan, all institutions in Ontario are required to provide, quarantine accommodation for their students. So this is mandatory. This is required by the provincial government. So that's why you have to do it, but only until January 14th. If you want to travel to Canada as an international student, after January 14th, you will need to be fully vaccinated. And also on that note, also do take note that if you have Sinopharm and Covaxin, these will guarantee you entry into Canada, but in order to visit campus, I think sometime around after January 30th, you will need a booster shot in order to visit campus, right? So I highly encourage all of you that when you arrive in Canada, contact the provincial vaccination line. They will make sure that you get the Ontario vaccine certificates with the QR code, because they're very important. Many organizations in Ontario require proof of vaccine, and they also require proof of vaccine, with that QR code, right? The Ontario issued ones. So make sure when you enter Canada with proof of vaccination from your own country, you contact the provincial vaccination line, and they will assist you to get, Ontario vaccine certificates, right? So the whole process may take about 4 weeks. That's why I encourage you to take action on this as soon as you arrive in Canada. That's if you would like to visit campus or you would like to attend classes physically, on campus, sometime in February, when probably we hope some classes will be back, on a hybrid basis. So moving on to the next slide again. Please also do take note that as quarantine rules and availability are changing, prices are subject to change without notice, right? So up until now in January 14th, if you're not fully vaccinated and you need to take up the mandatory quarantine plan. So, contact COVID support if you have any questions about quarantine or traveling to Canada. We'll be happy to assist you and guide you to Canada safely and legally as well. So thank you so much, and we hope to welcome you soon. And just before I leave, let me just highly encourage everyone again to constantly refer to the Government of Canada website for travel updates. We are here to guide you and make sure that you travel safely and legally to Canada, but it's also your responsibility as an individual to make sure that you're compliant with whatever requirements are in place. So that's why we highly encourage you to make sure that you constantly refer to the Government of Canada website for all travel requirements to make sure that you are compliant, right? So I think moving on to the next slide.
Yeah, I just want to say something about the January 14th deadline here. So today here in Toronto, it's January 4th of 2022. Now we have 10 more days before this order comes into effect, where all international travelers will need to be quote unquote fully vaccinated with all the Western vaccines to be able to come into Canada. Between now and the 14th, there's not enough time to book flights and to get everything set up. So if you are not vaccinated, please don't have the mentality of like, I'm going to go to Canada to get vaccinated. It's too late now to make all those travel arrangements, and also to get all the travel support documentation in place, and also the visas and everything in place. So just food for thought. While we do encourage you to get fully vaccinated, we encourage you to get fully vaccinated in your home country first, then come travel to Canada. Okay, so don't have that mentality of, oh, we have 10 days, boom, 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 let's go. Like, it's not going to work that way, and we will not be able to handle that volume. Okay, I just wanted to put that out there. Okay. And at any time, if you are traveling, if you've reached out to COVID support previously, before this orientation, if you already talked to Kuda, if you are traveling and if you are coming in from overseas, if you do have any issues at the border, if you do have any issues in quarantine, we always have an emergency number, 647-267-5230. The +1 in the front is the North American designation for the international calling code. So if you're dialing from overseas, always make sure to add the +1, then the area code 647-267-5230, okay? And now this is the important emails. Now throughout the entire orientation, we've been going through like all the basic points, you know, what you need to do to get enrolled, introduce a little bit about Toronto, what it has to offer, how you can travel into Canada safely and effectively. So I'm gonna list out here a list of emails where if you do have questions after today's orientation, you can go ahead and email these emails here. First one is going to be COVID support at TorontoSOM.ca. Myself and Kuda primarily handles this inbox. And, you know, when you do send, you know, your emails to us, try not to send like multiple emails asking the same question. You know, some people feel like they send like 10 emails, we're going to respond faster. It actually makes makes it slower because we have to sift through all the emails and see who's been sending us the same question like 20 times, 15 times, 10 times, etc. I will share the COVID emergency number again in a minute. Let me go through the emails again. Number 2 is going to be career services at TorontoSOM.ca. Main takeaway for this email is at least 3 to 4 months before you start your co-op, please email these guys at Career Services to get yourself set up in a you know, an internship, co-op placement, or if you have like a full-time job that coincides with your work permit, then you know you're good to go. But again, try to leave as much time as possible to secure your employment before you head into the co-op version portion of your program. Otherwise, if you do it last minute, then you know, again, I was mentioning earlier, your entire program is going to shift forward. You're going to have to get a study permit extension. You're going to have to pay more to the government to get that extension, and there's more paperwork on your side, our side. So again, goes back to the theme of please be aware of where you're at in your program versus your expiry date, and always make sure that you are going to finish before the expiry date on your study permit. Okay, the other one is going to be student finance at TorontoSOM.ca. Just a word on that is everyone's here, every student that's enrolled and has received an LOA has signed a contract. Within the contract on the 2nd or 3rd page, there's going to be your payment schedule. That payment schedule is what is entered into our system, right? So if you miss your payments, there's a grace period of 2 to 3 weeks, then the system automatically blocks you. There's no point calling student services saying, can I get a few more days to pay this and that? There's no way for us to unblock you in the system. Okay, so if you do find out that you are in Canada, even if you're overseas, if you want to, you know, get more time to pay, if you want a new payment plan with the Toronto School of Management, that's fine as well. Please email studentfinance@TorontoSOM.ca and just explain your situation to them. Hey, I'm short on cash right now. I can't make the next installment. Please don't block me. Can we find a new and sign a new contract amendment? Okay, the new contract amendment will have your new payment plan on there, right? It's not guaranteed that you will get a new contract amendment with the new payment schedule, but you know, student finance will look at your payment history and then determine if they allow for you to have like a new payment schedule. Okay, so that's very important. The other one is going to be academics at TorontoSOM.ca. Academics obviously is the academic portion of your studies, right? So Nisha, Eddie, you know, Gabriel, they can all be reachable through that website, that email, academics@TorontoSOM.ca. Just a reminder here for the academics at TorontoSOM.ca, if you are seeking for an authorized leave, if you have a study permit, then academics@TorontoSOM.ca is the email to contact. Student services at TorontoSOM.ca is the email you will use if you want a break, if you are on a study permit application acknowledgement letter. Okay, so at any time you need to take a break, if you need a family emergency, like if you need to take time off, please ensure to either email academics@TorontoSOM.ca if you have a study permit, if you have a study permit application acknowledgement letter and are only studying online, then email student services@TorontoSOM.ca. Okay, so what I'm going to do is repeat the COVID hotline emergency phone number here. I think someone's already screenshotted that there in the slide in the chat box there, but the number again is +1 647 267 5230. Okay, so very important phone number. That's like your emergency lifeline if you need assistance from school officials. Okay, all right, so moving on. So here are our emails. You know, you can take a moment to write down these emails here. So I'm just going to go one by one. The first one is Yevgeny Denchuk. He's our director, associate director of student services. Josh's email is up there. We've been talking about Josh and his role and, you know, the housing coordination and things of that nature. So, you know, if all else fails, then Josh has his email listed there. Irene is the career services manager, and her phone number and her email is listed on this slide as well. Next one person is going to be me, Fred. I am the student services manager here at the Toronto School of Management. That's my email listed there. I mainly do, you know, if you have any mental health issues, if there's someone, you know, making you uncomfortable in class, I am the person to email. And also with any enrollment related issues. You know, try not to flood my inbox. Also try to CC student services as well. There are some easier items that I will have my team handle. And I do appreciate that. Nisha's email is up there as well. She's the head of academics, right? Janki's email is up there too. She is the head of the manager and the head for the business programs. We have Mahmoud, who's the academic manager for ACCA programs. Unfortunately, he was called away today and couldn't join us. The other person is Elle, the academic coordinator. You don't need to email her. If you have already emailed academics@torontosym.ca. And then the TSoM hotline is our main line, so that we use every day, right? So the TSoM hotline is the number where you call to answer, like, you know, very simple questions such as, can I get my student ID? Can I make an appointment, etc., etc. Okay. We also have in the chat there Eddie's email. Eddie Sullivan at torontosym.ca. He is the head of the H&T Hospitality and Tourism programs. And then I believe Gabriel has already added his email there as well in the chat. And we will for sure be, for sure include their emails on the slides next time. Before we conclude today's session, I want to ask everyone to turn on their webcam so we can actually take a photo, of our orientation. So if you can, please turn on your webcam. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a screenshot here. Wow, there you go. My screen is flooding with all your pretty faces. Okay, is everyone ready? Okay, give me a second here. Okay, is everyone ready? Okay, hold on. All right, let's see. Please hold for a second. There is something freezing here. Let me hit new. Okay. Okay, and then let's do one more. 3, 2, 1, and smile. Excellent, excellent. I do have the screenshots now. Thank you very much for your participation today. There is a part on the immigration session, but I do want to leave like a couple of minutes to be able to speak, have a FAQ session right now. So how we're going to do it is we have that chat box there, right? So I'm going to spend like 10-15 minutes to try answering your questions. I'm going to read your questions out loud, and then I will respond in that way. And then we'll have some colleagues here to assist, okay? So we will be here for the next 10-15 minutes. And oh, Kai's here. Okay, Kai, do you want to? Okay, joined at the end. Okay. Okay, we're gonna ask Kai to unmute.
Okay, finally, great. So,
Okay.
I'm sorry. So basically for TSoM students, what you really care about the most is how can I work while studying? So for most students, you are allowed to work up to 20 hours per week. And please make sure you are actively studying when you are working. So for students who want to work off campus, what you can do is you have to apply for a SIN number. As for a SIN number, you can actually apply it online instead of going to Service Ontario, because we all know Service Ontario is actually always crowded and it's a pain to actually go there and apply for it. So I just popped this link here, which is the place where you can apply for social insurance number, for the SIN number. Yes. So this is what I want to talk about the most. And then we're going to talk about a little bit about study permit application checklist. So for those students who are still overseas, what you have to do is you have to get ready for a study permit, of course. First of all, you will have to have an LOA, which is issued by Student Services Team. You will have either conditional LOA, which is letter of acceptance, or the normal LOA. And also you need proof of identity, your passport, your ID card, and your photo. And at the end of it, you need proof of financial support. For example, your payslip, your bank statement usually is a bank statement. And if the bank statement shows currency in your own country, you need to mark it and write it. All right. So for those students who used to be rejected, this actually happens quite a lot. So you will have to prove to actually explain yourself to the IRCC officers. It's better for you to send them a letter of explanation to explain what is your study plan after you come to Canada, why you come to Canada, and why cannot you do this course in your home country, which this thing we also call it as submission letter. If you are a minor, you will also need a custodian declaration, and you might also need to include family information form, which you have to list every single family member in your family, not only the ones who are coming with you, but everyone in your family to include in this. And also you need to have application for study permit made outside of Canada, which is IAM 1294E, which is the most important form basically in the whole application. If you have a language school proof, please provide that as well. If you have travel history, please provide as well. This is also important, especially if you've ever been to the United States. Make sure you mention this in your application. This will help a lot. Can I have next page, please? Thank you. All right. This is I will talk about conditional acceptance and prerequisite courses. So if you have been conditionally accepted, which means you have, for example, ESL, take prerequisite courses, you must complete these before you can start your main study program. Usually, if you have ESL before this and you have later a program combined with it, for example, you have half year of ESL and 1 year of studying at TSoM. So if lucky, IRCC will issue you a study permit of 1.5 years. If not, they will just issue you a study permit of maybe from half year to a year. So especially if you are still doing your ESL, you're not allowed to work while you're studying, because it's not really actively studying in a public college or sorry, in a post-secondary institution. Yeah. So can I have the next page, please? Thank you. All right. Proof of identity. If you're a citizen of the United States, please make sure you have your passport ready. I mean, you might have some advantage in her application because Canadian embassy citizens. If you're not, it's still right. Just make sure you have passport size photos, you have your ID card and your valid passport. So here's the thing about travel document. Once you have granted study permit, they will request your passport. So request your passport doesn't mean you have study permit right away. They will actually have a sticker attached to your passport. The sticker is what we call study visa. It's not a study permit yet. Usually you will have to go to the border and the CVSA officer will print out this whole letter size paper, which is what we call the study permit. So this is what we usually need. Can I have next page? Thank you. All right, the most important part is usually the proof of financial support. I have many applicants who got rejected because they don't have enough means to travel. So I would recommend to purchase GIC, or if you don't have that much money, you can just make sure you have a bank statement. That will also be fine. Your bank statement should be for the past 4 months or the past 6 months. That would be fine as well. Even though maybe those bank statements show currency in your home country, make sure you convert it into Canadian dollars so that IRCC office will know how much exactly would you have. All right. If you have paid tuition and housing fees, show this, include this in your application as well. This is always important. Can I have next page? Thank you. So yes, this is the minimum fund you need to support yourself as a student if you're just coming on your own. Then the only amount you need for the next year is 10,000 Canadian dollars. But if you're coming with, for example, your spouse, so that's 2 people in all, then you should have 10,000 Canadian dollars plus 4,000 will be 14,000 Canadian dollars. If you have your spouse and 1 kid, then together that will be 17,000 Canadian dollars. This is how we usually calculate it. Usually we say the more the better, but it doesn't really apply to every case. So make sure you have the exact amount that they require you to have. All right. As I said, bank statement, pay slip. If you are sponsored by, for example, your employer or by your country, make sure you have the sponsor letter as well, issued by the government or by your employer. Okay, next page, please. Actually, we can skip this and the next one. Yes, the letter of explanation. This is especially for those students who have difficulty in coming to Canada and who once got rejected. I would highly recommend you to find someone licensed to write this for you. It explains why you want to come to Canada and why you can't do this course and in your home country. You can't finish your career goal in your home country and why you would like to come to Canada. And after you finish your course, what you would like to do. How does this improve your chance to get a better job in your home country or either in Canada? So yeah. So this is basically all the things you might have to prepare. And then about working on campus, the most important and off campus, the most important part is social insurance number. Next page, please. I think for most TSoM students, it's actually better for you to work off campus because I don't think you're allowed to work on campus, only off campus. But please make sure, can I have next page? Thank you. Just all the way to work off campus. Yes. So please make sure that yes, this one. Please make sure you are full-time students when at a DLI, which is designated learning institution, while you apply for work. And make sure that, for example, if you arrive in Canada on January the 1st, your course didn't start until January the 10th. So between January the 1st and January the 10th, you cannot work during this period. You can only work when your program starts. Once your program is finished, you're no longer qualified or eligible to work part-time, which is 20 hours per week. However, if there's a school break or there's a statutory holiday, you are available to work up to 40 hours per week, which is full-time. Yes. So the last step is how to change your DLI. So especially for those students who who are already in Canada and who has completed maybe some programs in Canada prior to TSoM, you will have to change your DLI to TSoM DLI. So this is the step how you can do it on canada.ca. If you have a MyCIC account, sign into your account, click transfer from DLI number under the section student transfer, and you will see this. Actually, you just put your application number, family name, UCI number, and everything up there. And there you can tell them about what is your old program, what is your new program, and you will have to give the length, the starting date and the ending date of your new program and your student number. So after all this, yes, can we have, yes. So you can see current program and DLI number and start date, month, day, year. And then please click submit transfer. They will ask you to confirm everything and you say confirm transfer. That's when her transfer is complete. So this is basically what I have to say. If you have any questions, just pop it in the chat box. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kai, for that explanation on the DLI, especially if you are already enrolled to a Canadian institution other than TSoM, that step just now applies to you. You must change and switch your DLI number from your previous institution to your new institution here at TSoM. So I've been reading through the chat box now, and the number one question is, I don't have Canvas access. Right. So here's the explanation on that one. So we just got back from the New Year's holidays. We started working yesterday. Okay. So as of right now, we have quite a few hundred documents that we have to go through. Okay. So I've already instructed the team to prioritize everyone's, enrollments and Canvas access before classes start, obviously. Okay, so if you still haven't received your Canvas invitation, then please be patient. We will be working through those, over the next couple of days. And also please be mindful, we started our Christmas holidays on the 23rd and we haven't been working since then. So we only started yesterday. So there is somewhat of a delay. If over Christmas you've been sending us your documentation, that's why there was that delay there. So, we will get you enrolled and you will see that email to gain access to Canvas very soon. Okay, we are working through it this week. Okay. So without further ado, I also see some questions here about health insurance. So just a reminder on health insurance, if you're not in Canada, you don't need it. Okay. It is only when you are traveling into Canada, then you do need it. If you do need health insurance, then please email studentservices@torontosom.ca. Tell the person that you are in Canada and I require my insurance right now. Right. So, and then what we can do is we can go to the insurance portal and then we can create your insurance for you, right, with LegardMe. Okay. So without further ado, we're going to continue our FAQ session for the next 10-15 minutes. If you do have questions, please type them into the chat box, and then we will answer your questions in the order received. Okay.
If you don't mind, Fred, I just speaking with regarding the Canvas success. So just to check the first, what you need to do is log in your student portal. If you see still there is a warning, is any missing document, what you need to do, you need to upload all the document. Once you all we receive it, then of course we will certify document. If there is a pending, you already submitted, we will certify you as soon as possible. And you could also see your status at the moment. If it is enrolled, still you haven't received the Canvas, then you need to contact the student service department, because you enrolled means you must have a Canvas access. Sometimes some of case, you probably deferred your course, then maybe sometimes system doesn't send automatically to the Canvas invitation. Then just to check your student portal and your left side of corner, there will be go to Canvas link on your student portal. So you can click and you can go to the Canvas link as well. So you don't need to wait for the Canvas invitation. If you're already enrolled and you can see the link on your student portal, just go to the Canvas through that. And your student portal says accepted, expected. You are not, your status not changed to enrolled, it means something missing. You already submitted all document, of course, we will certify you. If you don't hear from us and you don't see still, your status is same status, then contact the student services at torontosom.ca. We will help you. Thanks.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So what I was just speaking of is under the condition that you have uploaded all the correct documentation, if you followed all the instructions, then we will try to clear it before classes, and we will clear it before classes start. But if you don't hear from us, there has to be something that's pending within the student portal. Okay, so let me dive into some of the questions we have here. I already have paid my insurance, but I'm offshore at the moment. This means still my insurance covering while I'm on. So until you receive the insurance policy, the insurance is not active. It's not like calculating days, right? So the insurance that you purchase through TSoM only starts when we issue it to you. And when we issue you an insurance document, it's going to say the start date and the end date, depending on what kind of money you pay. Some students paid 1 year for insurance. Some students paid half a year. Some people pay 3 months. So the start date will always be starting on the date of your request. Okay, so it doesn't automatically start for you and like waste the days if you're not in Canada, right? So let's see. I use my new. So here's a different question. I use my maiden name to enroll as a student at the Toronto School of Management, but my passport carries my marriage name. Can it be changed to my marriage name? So yeah, so with this type of name change for Hope, so you need to contact admissions at torontosom.ca, the department that issued you your letter of acceptance, to get your name changed, right? So as long as it follows the passport, you can contact the admissions department. They can change the name on the LOA. So it must, like, the takeaway is that it must, like, match your passport, right? So there's a question here. If I'm already here in Toronto, can I get a booster shot here? Well, good luck. We're all trying to get boosters. If you're here in Toronto, it's all sold out until 2023 February is the last I heard. But typically what you do is you go to the ontario.ca website, and then you go to the vaccination portal. Then you can input your information to be able to see the availability of the clinics, and also if the regional health units are going to be administering booster shots for you. But last time I checked, I want to get my booster as well, the third shot. It's sold out 2023 February right now. So keep your eyes posted on that, and keep a lookout on the news. Also, you can Google vaccine hunters. They're a group of people that keep a lookout for walking clinics around the GTA area as well. Okay. So we have a question here. If I don't get my study permit by January 10th and would like to defer my class to March intake, and I get my study permit, will you still be able to travel, especially if you're with kids who needs to be enrolled in school? So this is a question from Shareka. So yeah, so this changes everything, right? So if you decide to defer to March, then your LOA needs to change. Once you receive your LOA, you need to update your study permit via the IRCC portal to tell the Canadian Immigration Department that you are deferring 2 months advance. So you're going 2 months forward into March, and then they will reissue you your study permit and all your visas, right? And in that type of situation, like, you cannot travel with your kids, let alone you traveling yourself. So, okay. So there's a question here. I missed my second tuition installment. What can I do? Just pay your installment, right? If you need an extension on it, then please email studentfinance@torontosom.ca, right? So we have a question here. With someone who has already been enrolled to a course and still have not got her visa, is that person allowed a full refund? No. So you're only allowed a full refund if you get a visa refusal letter. And now maybe I didn't go into much detail earlier, but we have our full refund policy only applies for students that get a visa refusal letter. And now the condition is that once you receive your visa refusal letter, you need to send it to us within 5 days of receiving it to be eligible to be able to get the full refund minus the applicable fees, right? So for most programs, the applicable fees are $250, and then for cybersecurity, I believe it was $650. So it's going to be your full tuition, either minus $650 or minus $250. Yep, if your status is not enrolled on the student portal, then it means you have like either we haven't gotten around to certifying your documents yet, or you're still missing some documents in the student portal. Okay. Yes, the session is being recorded. After the session, give us like 45 minutes for my computer to load it. And then we will have the link available to share to everyone. If you do need a link to this recording to this session, please email studentservices@torontosom.ca. The email's listed on the slide there. Kuda, if coming with children under 12 years of age, do you need to be fully vaccinated? Do the kids need to be fully vaccinated?
I think Kuda is talking with his mic muted.
Yeah. Unmute Kuda. Oh, Kuda. Yeah.
Yeah. As I was saying to myself, apparently, since Ontario has, I think, started, giving vaccines to children under 12, I still have to look it up and confirm. So please email COVID support, and we'll always respond to you via email on that one. I'll still need to do a bit of research on that.
Right. But in general, I want to say that, right now the FDA in the US has approved like vaccinations for kids 5 and older. There's pediatric versions of the Pfizer vaccine. So I do encourage, if you do have kids, if you're traveling with kids, yeah, get them vaccinated before you come to Toronto. Again, don't have that mentality of coming to Canada to get your vaccinations. It's not going to work that way. Okay. How to get the co-op work permit. If you have your study permit and if you've applied using the TSoM LOA, you should have received your co-op work permit at the same time. Yep, you can change your program. There's a program change fee. You need to speak with your academic advisor to, initiate that. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna run until 12:40. We're gonna give it 6 more minutes.
If you're still having the problem, if even though you logged, enrolled and having an issue with the Canvas access, please email to the student services, and we will look into and we will give you the details and the right direction to you. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can email to us, and please indicate your names and your ID number, so we will look into it.
Yep, absolutely. There's a few reasons why it might be delayed. So yeah, just email us and we will look into it for you. Is there any way to get the SIN faster? Can we go to a specific place? Yeah, getting the SIN number, the fastest way to do it is to do it online. Yeah, so this is a question from Camilla. She has 1 dose of Johnson and 1 dose of Pfizer. Yep, that's fine. You can, yep, you're fine. Okay,
so I think
yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Go ahead.
To get back to the question about accompanying children who are not fully vaccinated, they can travel even if they're not fully vaccinated, but take note that they might be selected for arrival testing, and they still need to do the day 8 mandatory test as well. And for the next 14 days after their arrival in Canada, they must not attend any school camp, team sports, or daycare, and they also must not attend any larger crowded settings, right? That's only if they're maybe between the ages of 6 to 12, right? If they end at the age of 5, they don't need to be fully vaccinated, and they don't need to take up the arrival test or day 8 test, right? So only between the ages of 6 and 12.
Yeah. We have a question here from Gurdeep. Can we do online work in Canada as a co-op from our home country? So Gurdeep, I think you meant, can I do online work in my home country in place of doing the co-op here in Canada, right? So no, the answer is no. The co-op portion you have to do physically here in Canada, right? No, not. Okay, I'll let Suni answer this one then.
Okay, perfect. You
You're
guys
good.
can hear
Yeah.
me? Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thanks, Fred. But to with Fred's point, when you're in Canada, yes, you can do local placements, but seeing as the pandemic and things like that have happened, we can take online if you want to do a virtual placement anywhere in the world, you can, but there's certain stipulations that apply. You would need to send us the confirmation letter. We need to approve it. It's very tricky when it comes to payments and things like that, where what are the grounds for that? Is a co-op, but then because you're in a local study permit with the Canadian study permits, there will be restrictions around that. So again, we will need to really review that placement, but if it's an online placement that is more of an international company, maybe located in Canada, but then you can do it from there. There's a lot of different types of online placements and scams. So you want to make sure to please send us a co-op confirmation letter that is found on Canvas under the career service module with the form that gives us full information about this company you're looking to work for virtually. And then we will do our research and ask all the questions we need to ask to see, okay, what is this suitable or not? But yes, you can, even when with students coming down here to Canada, you can actually do co-op placements anywhere in Canada, not just in Toronto. So it's not just restricted to Toronto alone. You can do anywhere in Canada physically, and you can also do virtual placements abroad. Like you can do a virtual placement with a company internationally that's not located in Canada. However, we need to review it. So it's a little bit flexible with review.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the Capstone project?
Yeah, so the Capstone project is a project-based approach to co-op. So it's not unlike actually working with a team or something like that. You'll actually be given different topics by a mentor. So you'll be assigned a mentor within your program, your academic program. They will assign you a mentor that kind of gives you a few topics to maybe uncover, build on, a problem in the industry that you can solve or find a solution for. It's a very creative way to kind of execute and manage a whole project. It's like you get a lot of project management skills because you're very hands-on from execution, to inception, to completion. So, and you're kind of just governed by the mentorship of that professional that is going to guide you through it. Another good thing about the Capstone project is that it takes half the time to finish. So if your co-op is supposed to be 24 weeks, the Capstone project will be 12 weeks. So it also works for students that maybe had something came up and they weren't able to start co-op in time, and now they're halfway through co-op wondering, what do I do? Like, I still need to finish this. I have only half the time left. Don't fret. We have the Capstone project that you can join, or you can maybe do a full-time placement as co-op. But if students don't want to do full-time placement as co-op, they want to do a Capstone project. It's a very intricate program, and where you're actually kind of the boss of the program, of what you're trying to, like the projects you are running, and you're guided by your mentor. And then the successful completion of that, you can add that to your employment documents. You can show that to employers as like something you did that even boosts your advantage in the job market. So yeah, but it takes half the time to complete, half the required time.
Very cool. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so it is 12:40 now. We've gone 40 minutes over the scheduled time here. So we all have other meetings to go to and engagements as well. So we're going to conclude our January 2022 orientation as of right now. I just want to thank everyone for their patience, kind understanding, and I do hope everyone stays safe. I bid you a good morning, I bid you good afternoon and good evening as well, depending on where you are from the world. Please email us for the recording if you need it. And I'm going to leave this up for the next 30 seconds or so with the emails in case if you didn't get it. I do thank you again for your patience and, you know, some of the technical difficulties that we were going through this morning. Please be rest assured, Canvas, you will get those invitations. You know, we just got back from New Year's. We are warming our seats now, and then we're, you know, ready to get to work and to get everyone enrolled and to ensure that they have their Canvas access to the Toronto School of Management. Again, thank you and have a good day.